Good morning, Don't Unfriend Me Nation. What are we?
Hey, Matt, congratulations on your success, brother. And I really appreciate you giving, both sides, and just free speech the opportunity to have a platform, dude.
Got it. You got it. Thanks for everything you've done for this country, Eli. We'll talk next time. Tell Jen hello, and I'll have this ready in a couple of hours, and you can share it and take a look. Thank you, man.
Thanks, brother.
All right. Bye-bye.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
Forgot to check the the weapon today.
The weapon?
You still, well, yeah. You still do that? I mean, nobody's touched it. Nobody has played with it. This isn't a euphemism. This isn't code. For,
it's like, where are we going with this one?
Well, do you check your firearms in your house after they? Maybe not the ones that are inaccessible or hidden, but the ones that are in plain sight, essentially, like this one.
I like the one that I basically carry in is my
but not your
my wheelchair gun.
Yes.
Like every single time I grab it, like, all right, magazine still seated, I didn't hit bump, whatever. Like, yeah,
always.
Every time.
But what about one that's stationary, like the one by my side? Would you check that if you were in a situation? It doesn't matter. I check it every day.
Yeah, like yours, no. But like if we were in a situation I grabbed it, then yeah, do a quick brass check and then go. But,
yeah. I do the same thing. So I just didn't know if old habits die hard. Getting a haircut, obviously, it hasn't stuck with you.
What are those haircut things? See, I'm going for.
No, we know what you're going
like
for.
Like the
Rip.
Vietnam ponytail, so that way I can get Lieutenant Dan.
You're doing the rip thing, dude.
No. I'm not doing the rip thing.
Okay, go ahead. Tell me that.
Oh, actually, you know what?
Dude, everyone keeps going, you look like Rip.
Go for it. I have a photo I have to find real quick, and I will send it to you because there's a good comparison of Rip and myself.
Is it you in a bathtub?
It is. Did I send that to you?
No. Was it you in a bathtub? You're shitting me.
No, I'm not. I actually have. Hold on.
Lord.
I gotta find it. This is gonna take me a second.
Dude, take your time. It's not like anyone's expecting anything from us.
We actually don't do anything that important. People are just here to make fun of us. So.
I just realized that's much better. I have a little more color. I'm not this paisley white, surprisingly enough. And I was looking at Mike, and I was like, God, he looks like he's got a kiss of sun-kissed going on here. And I was like, I look white and pasty. That's much better. It was just too bright. Good morning, everybody.
How's everybody doing?
Obviously, doing fairly well. It must seem like we're going up against Benny Johnson, so this should be interesting. Someone let me know that, and they're like, by the way, Thursday mornings Benny's on at 10 o'clock. I'm like, oh shit. Well, listen, after what he did for Christmas for those kids, did you see this?
No, I did not. What?
I want to be really transparent. Okay. Let's just be honest.
And that picture's on your.
All right. Well, let's do this first. Let's do this first, and then we'll get to the good stuff because we got a good show today. I mean, we've got holy Jesus.
This is going to be a big knock on myself, but
no, just hold on a second. I'm perplexed. Hold on.
Oof. This is going to be good,
Mike.
See, this is a stereotype. Like this is what they want out of Rip, and then this is what you get out of me. So
it's a stunning comparison. I think.
Jeez,
I don't have much to say, so I'm just going to close that and just never open it again.
Yeah, please never. But yes, when you say I'm going for Rip, like I'm never going to get to that level. So
please don't be humble. That's like people saying I'm not going to get to the Kurt Warner or Ben Roethlisberger level. What pisses me off is that like I get compared to Ben Roethlisberger, and I'm sorry, I don't think Ben Roethlisberger is a very handsome human being.
You mean Rapeless Burger?
Yeah, rape. Exactly. That's probably why, because the guy's a rapist, but allegedly. Now I can handle Kurt Warner. Ben Roethlisberger. Let's see. No, really? No, I don't look like it. My wife says there's not a chance that I look like Ben Roethlisberger. Let me see. I could see the cheeks, because I've got the chubby cheeks. So does Mike.
It happens.
Yeah,
I like tacos, so that's where.
That's not it. That's not, dude. Bullshit. I've always had chubby cheeks. I've seen pictures of you when you were younger, and absolutely, you're born with them. There's nothing you can do. It's just maybe a little bit. Yeah, I guess. I guess I could. I mean, he's a burly man.
He is a big dude.
He is a big. Thanks. Appreciate that. Who's the other guy? Kurt Warner.
That's also a name I haven't heard in a while.
Why do I get the quarterbacks? What the hell? It's got to be Kurt.
The dainty quarterbacks. Is that what they're going for?
I don't know about the Kurt Warner thing. I'm trying to find a picture where he has it here. He's got the Ryan Reynolds look. Like a little bit, but not a lot. Maybe from like here up.
Yeah, I'm not seeing
I don't see that. I get this guy a lot.
Who's this guy?
Well, I'm going to show you. I get Graham Allen all the time, especially when I was like, always lifting. I get this guy a lot, and I can see
you could be his brother.
Yeah, much better hair though. My hair is much better than Graham.
It's not running away.
See, I can see that a little bit, but he does look a little bit like Ben Roethlisberger too. Let's be honest. So maybe
let's put all you in a lineup and see who gets picked.
Whatever, dude. I mean, look at the eye candy you're getting on this show. You're getting Graham Allen / Ben Roethlisberger and Rip. I mean, come on, it's not bad. I'm broadcasting on Rumble. What do you mean I'm not broadcasting on Rumble? I'm on Rumble.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Holy shit. Hold on now. I'm on Rumble. Oh, did I? No, I didn't. Oh, yes, I did. Oh, no. No, I did. Okay. We're still good on Instagram. Hello to Instagram people.
Hello, Instagram.
Am I live? Yeah, we're live. What you talking about? Oh, maybe I'm not. What the? Thanks for letting me know. Let me figure it out. Hold on. Our show yesterday did really well. 201 people watched that. That's good. Let me find out what the hell's going on, y'all. Matt and Mike in the morning. Did I not select the dumb show? Well, what the heck? Hold on. Yeah, it's live. We're right here, man. I mean, look at. That's us.
Oh, you just re-put. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, we're on.
Okay.
See? Now it just looks weird. Now it's oh my god, now we're doing the Mickey Mouse, the never-ending bartender effect. Look, it's just gonna keep exponentially adding.
Jesus. All right.
So this is not only is it on, it's on like 17 times. So I gotta close this before I throw up. I'm sorry.
Yes.
So yeah, we're on Rumble. I don't know what you're talking about. Everything's good. We're 5x5. And we're on Instagram too, which is really exciting. Hello to my Instagram people. Let's see who's on Instagram, then we'll get going. M Treated, I guess mistreated. Lisa. Leiterhauser, we see? Lisa Leiterhauser, we see. That's got to be German. Rick. And Kate Buss, my good friend who I adore. I love Kate. Kate is one of my favorite people on the planet. She doesn't know that. I think she does know that. I think I've said it before. She's just, dude, she's the sweetest human being in the world. And listen, everyone knows I'm desperately in love with my wife, but I will just say something about Kate, and hopefully she's not still on because she'll embarrass me.
Is she the one that brings cookies?
No.
Oh.
No, not at all. But Kate, when you look at Kate would never be a person who you would be like, okay, Kate is like the prototypical beautiful woman, right?
All right, where are you going with this?
I know. I'm going to save this. Just listen. So she's got glasses. She used to wear a hat, and she would have a ponytail, and she would come in the Apple uniform, and she would look like 1,000 other Apple employees. There was nothing distinguishing. She wouldn't spend hundreds of hours trying to make herself something she's not. She would just come in and be not a mom yet, but just I'm coming into work and I'm going to work, right? Like most people do. She never walked around and tried to be a glamour model or an Instagram model is what I'm trying to say. You know how some people try really hard?
And they try way too hard.
She didn't try. She never did that. She just was herself. And she was gorgeous, just absolutely gorgeous. Because every time she opened up her mouth, she was just super intelligent. And she could put two sentences together. And she had this infectious smile that I always recognized. Now, I was her boss, so I can't keep going with this. But luckily, I don't work at the company anymore. But I just always found her to be a really nice and sweet person. Well, then she had kids, and I didn't know her after that. But I saw her on Instagram. And if I thought she was attractive in that way before, she was completely one of the most beautiful people I've ever met in my life. The way she handled her kids, the way she interacted with her husband, and the way that her children make her smile. Every time I'm having a bad day, it seems that I'm surfing Instagram and one of her videos will pop up with her kids and she's just smiling and laughing and so freaking happy. And then you'll read one of her posts and it's completely, she's just ripping people apart because she's too damn smart and crushing people from a conservative value standpoint. And just one of my favorite people on the planet. That's it. You know, and everyone has one of those people where you're like, this person is well put together. They've got a good head on their shoulders. I admire who they are. Haven't had a chance to tell them. So there, I just told her. So there you go. There you go, Kate.
See, it's nice where you can actually look, you can tell how happy they are and how fulfilled they are in life, but they can still come down with a sledgehammer when they need it and be like, you're being stupid. This is why. Right. Fix yourself.
Right. And that's it. And you know, I think she's been watching the show off and on for 3 years. She'll tune in and say hello and stuff. But overall, when she sees something she agrees with, she'll say it. When she sees something she disagrees, she also says it, which is important. Lisa says Lederhausen. I was going to say it was like Lederhausen. I know that name, but Lederhaus is German. I'm familiar. Speer? Are you kidding me? I mean, come on. I mean, doesn't get much more German than that. Heil Speer. I mean, welcome to the Donut Friendly Show. I hope that Kate's probably like, holy shit, stalker.
Yeah, Kate's like, and we're done. Thanks.
See, but that's not really what I was trying to say. It just comes down to there's people who are beautiful equally on the outside as they are on the inside. And I do believe that. I think Olivia is one of those people. I think Olivia is extremely loving, extremely caring. I think you are definitely one of those people, Michael. You're beautiful on the outside and beautiful on the inside. At least
do you want me to go get you a little shovel so you can keep digging the hole you're in?
At least 2/3 of yourself is beautiful.
Yes. Well, yeah, the other third of it, I don't know.
Missing in action.
Probably a dog bone by now.
You think so?
I mean, I would hope.
Maybe someone will dig that
up
go
to good use
in 1,000 years and it'll be worth something.
So they're like, what the is this?
You think that was a digging myself in a hole comment?
It seemed like you started that way and then you kind of got out. See, and then you're jumping in and out.
I got to go back to it because that's not what I was trying to do. What I was trying to explain is that there's people who have priorities, right? And okay, let me give you an example. How long did you spend on your hair this morning?
The 5 seconds it took to turn on the shower, wet it, and then go.
I took at least 2 minutes, which is, you know, you got to dry it, move it to the side, and then do it. Because if not, it's incessantly curly. So I took 2 minutes on my hair. You took 5 seconds. In your eyes, I would be exceptionally vain.
Why? Why in my eyes would you be vain for that?
Because you take 5 seconds to do your hair and I took 2 minutes.
So that's a preference.
Okay, great. So so what if I took 25?
That's up to you. And I would just wonder where your GQ magazines are.
Okay, so there is a little bit of insult to injury, just not a lot. The point I'm trying to make is some people care about certain things. And okay, here's another one. The gym. You and I, how many hours a week do you spend in the gym?
Probably between 5 and 7.
Okay, so I'm probably 7 to 10 to 10 to 14. Most people would consider that to be crazy. Like most people who don't work out in a gym would say that's a lot of time.
If you don't work out, sure, but if you actually care about yourself and you want to have some type of good life, you probably should do a little bit.
Okay, so this isn't the ethics and the moral efficacy of lifting. What it comes down to is that some people care about certain things and other people don't.
Yeah.
Kate isn't one of those people who puts on a godly amount of makeup and comes in with her hair, you know, flowing like Farrah Fawcett with freaking highlights and wearing a Gucci t-shirt under her Apple shirt.
I feel like Kate needs to call in now just so you can have
Kate, you need to call in. Kate, you need to call in. You know what?
Either that or she ran away a long time ago.
No. I don't think so because I think people aren't as shallow and self-centered as you are. So I think
just because you look down on me every time I come in doesn't mean that.
Okay, first of all, it's physically impossible to look up at you unless we're laying horizontal, and that's a whole other conversation that's even weirder than the other one. Here's what it comes down to. You try to be nice and give someone a compliment, and it looks like a creeper nowadays. You can't.
It does.
You can't. You're a creeper. You can't just say, hey, someone's beautiful on the inside and outside. And I always admired that there was never this focus on this DuPont plastic prosthetic. I'm going to put on a ton of makeup and try to impress everybody when just me being me is even better. Okay, here, let me try one more time.
Okay.
Natural beauty. Do you believe in it? Does it exist?
Yes. Yeah, there's just some people that's how it works.
There it is. That's my point. Doesn't need to put on a whole lot of makeup and work at it to look good. Where I need to take a little bit of time, you obviously don't rip. You just get out of your bubble bath and throw on your Levi's and your boots. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, like let me throw on those boots there. I appreciate that.
I apologize. That was a dig.
Was that a low blow?
It was well, it's a low blow no matter what. so it's just a blow. Speaking of blow, you're at the right height. So let's move on. This is
we took a turn and it just keeps going downhill.
Matt, I don't think we took. I think you forced the turn. I think you're one of those people who grabbed the wheel, veered us off the ledge, and then are like, "Oh my god, I can't believe how shitty of a driver you are." And it's like, well, if you wouldn't have grabbed the wheel. Sarah says hello to Matt and Mike in the morning. Good to have everybody here. Let's go into Facebook chat. I'm sorry, Rumble people. I don't have Rumble chat going on. Matthew Singh says morning. Kevin is good morning from South Bend, Indiana.
We're still on our first pot of coffee. Matt, what pot are you on?
I'm on pot 2.
Jeez.
Yeah. But see, here's the thing is Olivia takes a full pot herself and her to go. So I only have really 1 or 2 cups remaining in the pot. And then I make 8 cups and I may have another 2 or 3. But I've decided I'm bringing I'm going to bring in my coffee pot into the show because I'm sick of having to get up in the middle of it. Morning, Kristen. Lolly's here. Good morning, Matt and Mike. Hi, Frederick. Kat is here. Deborah.
Amy, is there a show that you ever miss?
No.
I feel like
She's
it's every
moderator.
single one of them.
She's super moderator. BK Boone says it's not that warm here. No, he's 11 a.m. Oh, is he 11 a.m.? All right, thanks. I don't watch Benny. Good. Don't. Benny who? Benny reminds me of the outrageous televangelist that screams. I kind of agree with you. But he did do something. You know what? Let's get to it.
Yeah, I got. What did he do? Because I haven't heard it.
So okay. I want to be real clear. I have been a part of, I don't know, 70, 80 501c3s in one way or another, either working with, running, or contributing to 501c3s, whether it be the Purple Heart Foundation, Tunnels for Towers, Travis Manion, Green Berets, Wounded Warriors, Pause. I mean, hiring our heroes from Toyota. I mean, it's just TAPS. Yes, I'm name dropping, but it's important because there's a lot of them.
Yep.
And support would be, we need a flag, design us a logo. Let's get a flag. Okay, great. Or we need you at one of our events, whatever it is. So, or going to Burbiz in Vegas with these guys. And this is where Eli Crane and I built our friendship and, well, relationship. I don't know if it's friendship, but we've had enough awkward this morning. By the way, Eli Crane's eyes. Have you ever seen
I was
going to
say one of those Navy relationships. I feel like that's where this is going.
This guy's a SEAL, bro. You might want to be, just
I'll wait for his book. It's fine.
Just wait for his book and his movie. It's coming out if you don't like him.
I'll have a beach ball so that way he won't beat me up. We'll just throw that out there and we'll get distracted.
Big Ben Mabry. God, all my old Apple people are coming out. Ben, good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. So, Benny, get back to 501c3s. I want to be clear. Very few 501c3s do it for the cause.
Correct.
I'm just letting you know.
Wounded Warrior Project is not one of them.
Wounded Warrior, WWP is not one of them, right? And there's plenty of others that I can give you, but I'm just going to, WWP is not one of them.
Yes.
And the reason why is somewhere along the way, they lose the mission or they never had it.
Yep.
The only reason they're getting involved with veterans and being a 501c3 is for a tax write-off to increase their overall sales revenue or their marketing exposure, or they have an image issue and they're trying to fix it. That is the truth.
So that also happened when I was in the hospital, that all the celebrities or like famous people, generals, all kinds of people would show up, and you could tell the folks that actually cared and the ones that were there for the photo op.
Right.
And although I don't want to say this because I know your daughter loves her, Taylor Swift was one of those people that showed up for a fucking photo op.
Yep.
She gave two shits.
She didn't care.
But then you get folks like the... Oh crap!
Well, you heard she did. She just did a fundraiser. Guess what? For Palestinian.
Oh, seriously?
She just did a fundraiser. She went to a fundraising event for pro-Palestine fundraising. Whether she knew it or not doesn't matter.
Yep.
But I've already spoken out against Taylor Swift. Listen, I have nothing against her. I think she's an amazing, talented artist. I do. I actually love her music. I've got no problem with her music. I just think that morally she's as corrupt as.
Yep.
And morally bankrupt. That's all.
Now, I don't remember if I told you this or not, but the one guy that I can truly say actually gave a shit and put his money where his mouth was.
Marky Mark.
Nope.
Oh, hold on. See if I can guess. Gary Sinise.
Yes, but it's somebody else.
Okay, now hold on. Is it a performer?
Actor.
Okay, so it's not Toby Keith, because Toby Keith definitely is one of them. And I hope God's with you, Toby. Seriously, man. I want you to recover. You were looking good last time I saw you. Fingers crossed, man. I think anyone who speaks their mind like you do, I may not always agree with you, but at least you're not the fucking Dixie Chicks. Actor.
Yep.
Who really stands behind veterans?
Yes. And I'm going to say he's more prevalent in the 90s.
It's not Bob Hope. I don't, just give it to me. And I'm going to slap myself because I'm going to know.
Montel.
Oh, really? Oh, well, he's ex-FBI.
Yeah, but no, like he was the guy that I swear it was.
He's not really an actor. He's a talk show host.
I mean, I know him from Jag is where I first saw him, and then I found all of his other
You know
stuff.
what? You're right. This is posthumous for the Montel Williams show.
Yep.
Is that who we're talking about, Montel Williams?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he would show up about every 2 months, never with any photographers,
right?
Like never with any just folks, so that we can get out in the press. He would show up. He would go meet every single new veteran that was there, and all the old ones if you want to see him again. He would go around to every room. But the thing that he did is, if you were new and you showed up, he would ask you like, "Hey, I've got this juicer," because I forgot what disease he has that he had to get healthy, so he created a juicer to help with that.
Wow.
He would get your address and he would send you this free one. I want to say it's like a $400 juicer. He did that for every single person that showed up. She's like, I care. I want to help you guys. This is one way that I know how to do it. So he would send every single person a free one. And he, like, out of anyone that I knew, he was there the most. And like, you turn around like, oh, you're here again. But it got to the point to where you could tell the folks that gave a shit. It's like him, like Zach Brown Band was another one that you showed up, you can tell that they cared.
Okay.
And then all the other folks that, and Walter Reed, where we had, it was basically like a little fishbowl that we would work out in. They would bring all these folks by and they would just look at you like you're in a freaking cage. Like, oh, hey, look, here's all the guys with no arms and legs working out.
Right.
And then they would walk out and got their little photo op and leave. These guys
so fucking awkward and cringe how some celebrities are. It would be like this. Here, put your hand out. You're like, here, you got to show. Can you show your hand? Here, leave your hand on your screen. I'll reach to you because I have the length.
Yep.
So you got to bring it a little bit right there. No, right there. It'd be like, here, you get it. Hi, how are you?
Oh, yes.
And they have the dainty little handshake because it's like, oh, you're a cripple.
Yes.
Hi, Tiny Tim. I don't want to break you. So your hands are extremely cold, but do you moisturize? Because they are soft for.
No.
Okay. Anyway, so we already had awkward this morning, so I just gotta keep it. So they just do this, and I'm like, dude, shake his fucking hand, man.
I do love it when they go up to folks who are missing both arms. And they'll do that.
Right.
And then the face you get after that, you're like, oh.
Right. And the guy puts out his stump and the guy's like here like this with one finger. It's like docking. Here you go. Do I just like leave it in the hole or just shake his fucking arm, man? It's right there. I mean, people don't know how to treat vets. So like the people who I've like Marky Mark with Tunnel for Towers. He's ridiculously good. Who's the guy from the Jack Ryan series? Krasinski. Krasinski's really good with. Oh yeah, he was awesome with veterans. Of course, Gary Sinise.
Yeah, Gary Sinise, like he's one of those. Like he's the model of.
Dolly Parton was huge when I was in. She did great things. Anyway, my point is that there are a lot of people who do things for veterans for the money.
Oh, 100%.
I'm just letting you know. And there's people who will do marketing things for the money. Like, for instance, if you look at some of the people we've helped on the show, I don't sit there and cut the segment out and then go ahead and boost it and be like, hey, look how great we are, right? There are things that I've done for people in my local community, and I've had press and I've had videos done. And I don't pump it on this show and go, hey, look at me. There's people who do that. There's people who don't. Every show, the way I give back is for 1 minute. We talk about Veteran Crisis Hotline, and we've always done that. Or we'll help vets on the show, or somebody will find some money in their Venmo account in order to help them pay rent or whatever. Completely different. Well, Benny did this Christmas video. He went to one of the poorest places in Georgia.
Okay.
Went to this town, small town, and went ahead and rented out a, looks to be like a 4,000 or 5,000, maybe 6,000 square foot retail space, gutted it, and brought in thousands of presents and turned it into like a Christmas wonderland and gave every single kid a free present. They got to come in with a coupon and sit with Santa Claus and grab a present. And I thought, that's great.
Yeah.
Now he's marketing the shit out of it.
Of course.
And to me, there's a way to do this. Like at Valor, we did the 13 days of Christmas, 13 stars of Christmas to represent the 13 stars lives lost in Afghanistan. And we didn't run a big giant promotion out of it. We just did it. We went to every house and we gave a TV and gave, Santa Claus came and we did this, and it was an amazing thing. And it was a huge marketing event, but it wasn't designed on Veterans Day, or it wasn't done on 9/11. And we blacked out during those times. And I don't run Veterans Day sales. I think I'm not going to do that shit. Now I have veteran discounts year round, but so the skeptic in me looks at Benny and goes, dude, you're doing this for clicks.
Yep.
But then again, I have to look at the authenticity of how he did it. And I will say it's exceptionally done. Like, he has a gift. And I know some people don't like him because he plagiarized, and I know he does gotcha headlines, and he gets to me too. He annoys the shit out of me. And he is what I consider to be the conservative establishment. And I will never be a part of that. I will never be accepted by people like Glenn Beck. I will never be accepted by Ben Shapiro. I will never be accepted because I'm foul-mouthed, and I don't lead with God. I don't think
we would ever want to be.
No, but if I led with God, and I'd be Graham Allen, right? So I'd be tattooed, and I'd have, but my mouth and just the way I call things and how I call out conservatives as much as I call out Democrats at times, it's not going to get me invited to any dinner parties. And I'm going to be the lone guy on the island. And honestly, that's the way I prefer it. But Benny toes the line, and he has Marjorie Taylor Greene on his show. Like, I would never have Marjorie Taylor Greene on my show.
That would be a 2-minute show, and she would walk out.
She would just be like, I'm fucking out of here. I'd just be like, why'd you vote for Kevin McCarthy? I thought you're an always Trumper. Why are you voting for Kevin McCarthy? Well, no. My viewers want to know. You know what? We're done. And she'll get up and leave. But this Benny Johnson video, I'm going to show it. And I would hope that you would go over and give it a like and say something nice to Benny, because I think this guy, he's trying to make it work. Now, I know he got hit with plagiarism. He's let that go. He did something stupid. When you're creating content, it's really freaking hard as a content creator. I'm not going to say that I haven't taken news articles and not cited a source. Give me a break. Everyone does that.
It happens. So,
but he does some pretty damn good things. So I'm looking for the video right now. And the nice thing is it isn't up on his page being blasted every 5 seconds. So he did get a lot of press over it.
Well, and that's the thing I get, like, the one hand, like, you need a little bit of press in order to pay for and do all that. So, like, I get that part of it, but as long as he's doing it in such a way that it's not like, oh, hey, look what I'm doing. It's like, no, like, these kids need this. Like, we want to spread some Christmas cheer, and this is how you can help support that, and here's the fruit of your labor of what you were doing. So, like, there's a good way to do it. So as long as it's like that, then it's like, okay, got it. You've got to do a certain way to do it.
You know what? I'm going to backtrack what I said. I'm going to eat some crow. I'm watching this, and it's got 2.6 thousand shares and 11,000 likes. That's not that big. That means 300,000 people saw this in a network that he has 1 million plus. Dare I say that's not paid promotion. That's him.
That's him just doing it.
Just him just putting it out there, and organically it's growing. So I'm gonna eat crow. Let me try to get this. I got to get this thing up. I'm struggling to find it, and that is even more of a testament to that he's not paid promoting this like crazy. And I got to get it to load. So bear with me. Let's see if I can get this thing going here.
Okay, now I've actually got the video going.
Do you see it?
Yeah. No, I actually really like this.
Okay, but hold on. Can you send it to me? Because I'm not seeing it, dude.
Okay.
It's crazy. I just totally threw this in and did not anticipate watching this together.
If I at you in it, can you find it that way?
That's too much. Just send it to me by text. Can you do that?
Hold on. See, there's.
Oh my.
If you haven't figured out, me and technology don't work.
Yeah, but the problem
well.
is that I can't. For some reason, the entire internet is broken, and I can't get shit to play.
Why can I not grab this?
Russia hacked.
Here we go.
See if you can get it.
Copy link. There we go. I figured it out. I'm really good at breaking stuff. I'm not good at doing technology.
Well, so. I'm just going to YouTube. So hold on. I think I may.
I just sent it to you.
See, I got it. I already got it. So I appreciate you trying. So
this is what you get when you got me on this.
That's okay. All right, here we go. So let's watch a little bit of this so y'all can see this. Here it is. All right, let me flip the sound. And all right, enjoy this.
There's about $20,000 per year. A quarter of the entire county lives below the poverty line, in part because there's a large prison population here.
And Benny, if you tag me with ad rights on this, I swear to God, I'm going to out you to everybody. No, he won't do that. Give it a watch. It's really good. So I'm just going to go into like the middle. You'll get the gist. Production value is fantastic. Mm-hmm.
Welcome to Alamo, Georgia. We are here in Santa's workshop, Christmas Wonderland.
Our toy store, which started off as an empty warehouse just a few days ago, now houses near.
Benny's been lifting a little bit, so he looks.
I mean, he saw your show and wanted to catch up to you.
I think he has, because he already copied my my entire set.
100 toys around the store. So how does this free toy store work? First, the children get a ticket. Then they select their toy. That ticket can be exchanged for any toy in the store, and then they go see Santa. Merry Christmas.
Are you ready? Let's go.
With Santa in place, we were almost ready to open up the store for the entire town. But first, we want to do something special for some special families. Brody is 2 years old. Brody's father was an Alamo police officer who was slain in the line of duty, protecting his community. We thought Brody would like his own police car.
That's the right thing to do, man. How do you knock any of that?
I mean, it's more than you guys know. It really does. Hey, Merry Christmas.
The local police department and police chief showed up to christen Brody's new police cruiser and send this boy off right.
He's gonna get a police escort home? It'll be fun, though, won't it, buddy? It'll be fun, though, won't it, buddy?
Oh, you're definitely in Georgia.
Yeah. Oh, totally. All right.
Who are in need this Christmas, welcome them into the store early to pick out a toy. I don't think the kids minded at all.
Do you want to go see Santa? Good job. Can I bounce back? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Ah!
Say Merry Christmas.
Thank you so much.
You know, there's something that really frustrates me is when people focus and think simplicity equals stupidity. And this is a perfect example of what we were talking about this morning, which I was trying to convey, is that somebody who focuses their life on simplicity and doesn't focus on the material or focus on aesthetics doesn't mean that they don't care about those things. It means they don't have the time for them. Yep. And the one thing about Benny that I know people are like, okay, that was a setup shot, him playing ball with a girl. You know what? I don't think so. Because I think this guy feels this way about his own family. He's extremely family focused. He loves his children, just like all of us do. And I, anybody that can put on a Santa cap and still be on camera and try to be masculine, you know what? I don't think that's what it's about. I think he truly, even though this might have been done, yes, to get some clicks, because the production value is obviously, this isn't a simple 5-minute edit. This is a, 2 to 3 week edit of an event. And it doesn't matter because it comes across as genuine. These kids don't give a shit about that. They don't care if Benny Johnson is making a video to get clicks, because I don't think that's his sole purpose. I think it's an ancillary benefit to an altruistic cause.
Yeah. But it's one of those, do you see the joy that kid had just bouncing the ball and how much fun she was having? Like, that's what we should be focusing on. It's like, okay, you get a little bit of joy, something that can keep that kid going when she may not get anything else.
Yep.
So it's an amazing thing. Good on Benny for doing this. Like, that's an awesome thing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Like, I watched this and I cried. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. It's hilarious. As I was watching Eric Johnson from the Colorado Avalanche, his return last night with the Buffalo Sabres. He played 15 years for the Colorado Avs. Loves the Avs. And he broke down in the locker room. Could not keep it together. And was just like, I need a minute, guys. And he's a tough son of a bitch. 6'5". He's called the Condor because of his arm span. And I watched that too. And I'm sitting here going, God, I just can't get away from it tonight, man. But this is the time of year for this type of stuff. And to see him do this, it's amazing. It inspires me to give back more and figure out how I can go ahead and give back and try to do more than what I do. It's hard. Money is a pain in the ass. But anyway, watch a couple seconds of this and then we'll get on to the rest of the stuff.
By the time we were ready to open the store, hundreds of families had shown up and a line stretched around the block.
You want toys? Yeah! You guys excited?
Yeah!
Are you ready to see Santa's workshop?
Before we open the store, one quick thing. How do we afford all this? The answer is you.
Nearly 1.5 million people subscribing to our YouTube channel makes this possible. So thank you for bringing this Christmas magic.
See, and that was tastefully done.
Yes.
That's tastefully done. He's not asking for a like, follow, and share.
Yep.
He's like, listen, you fuckers want to keep this up? Go subscribe to my channel.
Exactly.
That's good. It was so I got to give Benny credit, right? He knows how to market.
He did good. He did good on this one.
Homeboy did good. I'm proud of him. I mean, I hit him when he's wrong.
Americans.
Are you ready? All the time. Are you ready? Because he's wrong like always. And he should spend more. Look at your beautiful picture right here, buddy.
Oh Jesus!
Here, I'll take that down for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely need to. But the fact that he is wrong and doesn't retract and just moves on to the next headline sometimes irritates the shit out of me. But he's not wrong here. It's a beautiful thing. God bless his family. He deserves his success. He's good at what he does. It's not my style, but it is what it is. No backhanded compliment. I'm proud of what he did. I hope he does it every single year. And that, if I could give Benny Johnson any advice, it's that it would be much more rewarding for you to do that on a national scale and create a foundation that does that, funded through you as a 501c3, hand it off, negate all profit that you make from it, and donate your time to that, would be a much better thing. And have podcasters, the conservative network, go reach out to all the conservative channels, reach out to Shapiro, reach out to Beck, reach out to Patriot Barbie, reach out to Izzo, reach out to myself, and have us fund those events and have our listeners provide those events across the country. That is something you should do, because there's one thing about veteran networks. Veterans are dicks to each other.
What do you mean?
Yeah. Veteran
we never do that.
Veteran-owned businesses are alpha, just completely isolationists, and nothing brings us together. Same thing with conservative networks. They tend to be niche-based. They only bring in certain people and then they stick with them. To me, if you want to do something worthwhile, do that on a national scale, and that'll eclipse anything you do on your YouTube channel. That's just my opinion. He doesn't have to listen to me. All right, Mikey, you sent something to me this morning.
Which one do you want to start with?
I think we should start with Civil War.
Civil War? Okay. Let's
So we're gonna Mike and I
feel like we need to really show off this shirt.
I don't understand why you keep trying to
I was showing off the shirt because I feel like this ties in very well.
Like I'm like slouch. I get comfortable. I'm slouching in my chair. But if anyone thinks that Mike's taller than me or bigger than me,
hold on, let me see if I can
make
make myself small.
He's not. Make yourself diminutive. You'd have to scoot back like 20 feet. Same lens, same camera. Mine's just a little bit further away. So that's why. Mike and I are in a unique position because we've happened to see Civil War. Real Civil War. Not muskets and cannons and gray and the...
Let's stand online and wait to be shot. Like
right. Musket to musket, English style, stupid Civil War. But conflicts that are... nested in civil war, whether it be countries in Africa, whether Bosnia and Herzegovina, whether it be Ukraine, whether it be other areas that are undisclosed, we've happened to see civil war. And there is this very unrealistic and completely fantasy-based thought process between 3%ers and survivalists that they could fight the United States government. And let me explain this to you. You can't. You can pretend that AR-15 or that M1 is going to stop them, and it will for a brief period of time until you become annoying.
We can even go back to Turkey, and I think it was 16 or 17 when they tried to do a coup against
Erdogan. Yeah,
they had portions. They had portions of the military. They had helicopters. They had armored vehicles that went in and tried to storm the presidential palace and whatever they call their
presidential
Congress
palace
and the parliament. They were going for both of them. They had military equipment going after these guys. Granted, I think it was only like what we would call like a battalion or two size worth.
It was a 20th of the size of their military. It doesn't matter. Enough to hold them.
But it's one of those, like, guess what? It didn't work.
No.
It took a couple days, and then Erdogan was back in power, and everyone who went on the side of the general that tried to do the coup, they all disappeared miraculously.
Yep.
They all just, oh, sorry, we'll see you later.
Right.
So if you think that you're going to be able to go up against our military, you are dead ass wrong.
Wrong.
Like, it's
wrong.
It ain't going to happen.
Wrong.
Now,
wrong.
It is going to take a while for the military to even get mobilized. So you'll have a couple days on your side.
Yes.
But after that, and once they actually pause, I always say it wrong, posse comitatus, and allow the military to do operations inside our borders, it's going to be a very bad day for you, and it's not going to take that long.
Folks, I want to explain something to you, let's just say that you are the hardest hard charger in the world, that you have survival training, that you are a Force Recon Navy SEAL Delta Ranger. Because I have survival training, he has survival training. I've worked with special forces. He's worked with special forces. We have the ability to understand what it would take to run behind the lines guerrilla operations, and I'm going to explain it to you. You may have all the skill set in the world. You may be the baddest motherfucker in the land. In the valley of death, death fears you. But in the end, logistically, logistics are going to fail you before any military needs to even engage you. You've got 3 days. 3 days of food, 3 days of water, 3 days of ammunition to effectively run whatever operation you want to run. And then you're going, I'm hungry, I'm cold, and now I don't know what to fucking do. Logistics are single-handedly the most important thing in warfare. Every major failure in war, whether it be from Alexander the Great, whether it be from Mussolini and Hitler to Putin, logistics win wars. Ask the Japanese. The Japanese entered a war because of logistics, because 6 months they would not have the fuel capacity and oil capacity to continue to keep the areas that they had conquered under the Japanese Empire. So what the Japanese did was used all their fuel reserves, not only to attack Pearl Harbor, but 21 other places around the world, specifically in the South Pacific, to expand the Japanese Empire and redraw the lines of their country into places like China, into Malaysia, into places close to Australia, into the French Polynesian Islands, into Bali, into the Philippines, and expand their overall influence in a one fell swoop to redraw the lines of their country where people would have to fight, and tried to make themselves puff up so big that they would ultimately be a threat to just about anybody who wanted to take them over. And the Japanese were a formidable force. But what we found out is logistically, they could not maintain these positions. So what you're seeing from most of these countries, like Russia, like other countries that have pushed out into expanding their overall reach, is logistically they failed. Russia lost 50 million. Most of that was to starvation in World War II. Most of that was logistics of freezing to death, not some foreign country like Germany plowing through Russia, which they certainly did. The reason I bring this up, and the reason why the Germans ultimately failed, was the blitzkrieg through France was untenable. And the pockets of resistance from the Nazis, they logistically could not, with our engineers and with our strategic forces blowing up bridges, making it impossible for them to resupply, ultimately wound up winning the war for Eastern Europe. You got 3 days.
Yep.
And then reality is going to set in. Sure, you're going to be ready. You got some beef jerky, you got some MREs, you've got some sodium tablets to clean the water, you've got some matches, and then the first rain's going to come. And you're going to be wet. And you're going to be cold. And then you're going to have to fucking navigate through a strike against a squadron of whatever. So let's say it's the Air Force that are in a Jeep and they're all dressed in blue and they're going out and, okay, let's go up to the mountains, boys. And you're there and you're going to, and it's fucking 23 degrees and you don't have your winter gloves. Your hands are freezing. You have to your fucking lens keeps fogging up on your optical. Everything's wrong. And you're somehow going to engage the enemy Red Dawn style. Folks, it's not going to happen.
No. And especially when, like, and I'm one of those guys, I shit on supply all the time. But guess what? That old thing of bullets don't fly without supply, it's true.
That's it.
You get to a point of no return to where you've used all your water, all your ammunition. If they don't show up, you are screwed. And then when Matt was talking about the logistics, where it's like, and we've talked about this before, but for the Marine Corps, they only have 10 or 11,000 actual infantrymen who would actually go out and fight. The entire rest of the Marine Corps
support
is all support, whether it's aviation, supply, fuel, water, everything else is support.
Right.
So you're going to tell me you're going to make your little militia of 1,000 people. Are you really going to have 10 people fighting and everyone else doing all the logistics?
That's right.
No. You need your 100-person company that you can actually go out and fight, and you need 1,000 people on the back end just supporting them.
Yeah.
Do you really think you're going to be able to do that?
Right.
No,
So
it's not gonna
independent militia, civilian civil war is not going to happen. Okay. It's never going to happen. Okay. So government versus the people. No. Ruby Ridge, folks. Okay. David Koresh. End of story.
Yep.
They'll isolate you. They will cut off your supply. They will wait you out. And then if they get sick of you, they'll just fucking murder you. Okay. Done. End of story. Okay. So that's not going to happen. Now, let's go into civilian civil war, which is like suburbs versus ghetto.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That would be the first thing. And if the government's smart and it's actually going, they're going to allow that
to happen.
And then whoever wins, they're going to go crush them, and then
That's
it's all over.
There you go. See? Realism. Because we've seen it. We've seen it happen in real life. So civilian to civilian, yes. And what they will do is they will create a fire line.
Mm-hmm.
And if you cross that line, you're going to die. And it will contain the battle. And the government will draw the lines. Police forces, city police forces, National Guard will come in and allow those people to just kill themselves. And whoever is left standing, if join us or die.
Yeah,
that's it.
And I hope people realize like there's not enough police out there to actually cover the entire U.S. So yeah, they're going to make their little pockets, and then everything else is going to be the purge.
Demarcation lines.
Like
that's it.
You can go do what you want, but you come in here, it's over.
You're toast. So we want the government to run. Okay, so now we know that civilian to civilian civil war is a possibility. And it will be pockets of resistance, and nobody will know what they're fighting for. They just know that we have finally eclipsed to the point, a boiling point, where the media has won, and black people are the enemy and white people are the enemy, and we're going to kill each other. Okay? So that's possible. And that happens. It's happening right now in the inner cities. They're doing it to each other. What happens when they change their focus to other people? That's a very viable, absolute probability, and the government will not get involved. They will not try to stop it. They will allow that process to take place, and attrition will take over, and then whoever wins ultimately will either join the fold or die. Okay, great. So now we've established that. So let's go ahead and talk about the real type of civil war that could take place. Secession, state versus state.
Yep.
Okay. Is that possible? Yes. Of course it's possible. It happens in Europe. It happened in Africa. It's happened throughout world history where unions of countries have broken off and absolutely 100% fought each other. So let's watch this movie. There is a new movie coming out, and it's about civil war. And Kirsten Dunst has decided to stop wearing her nipply tank tops in the rain, where she kisses Spider-Man upside down, and move in and do a new type of movie. And we need her.
Don't you mean the savior?
We need her to save the day.
Someone's got to.
A24, baby. She's a photographer. Now, I will give credence. This movie is from the producers of a couple of other movies that I've seen that I've enjoyed. So let's watch this. And then we'll come back and talk about it. And we will bring the realism to this conversation. Because, folks, that's what's important, is the realism. This one's interesting. Let's watch this. You guys might like this. All right, enjoy.
19 states have seceded. The United States Army ramps up.
19 states have seceded. Does anyone want to know which states those possibly could be? Could it be the South?
The South, yes.
Wow, geez. I wonder if they're going to go ahead and use real world symbolism. First of all, do you see this? This isn't what it looks like. Not every car is going to be broken down, okay? And you're not going to send. This would make it seem like there was a military force that came in and went car to car and cleaned these people out. Okay.
Is it that, or is it all these people are trying to run away from something and they figured out that, oh, we have no more power, we can't do the pumps anymore, and we run out of gas?
All succinctly at the exact same time in the exact same spot.
Well, once you get a few of them and then you can't get around it,
that's fine.
And then you start looting.
That's fine. All of that is absolutely possible. My point is that this isn't what it looks like.
No.
It's going to be bumper to bumper. These first of all, you're never going to leave your vehicle. These people, like in Cops, who are running away from the police and get out of their fucking car, are the stupidest people on the planet. You're literally taking your one advantage of equality and making yourself at a disadvantage. Second, these people who are all zigzagging and all this. This guy's got a fuel truck. Listen, he's got a fuel canister in the back of his white vehicle. Why? That wouldn't be there. Nothing would be there. These vehicles would be stripped down for everything. It's just, there's no bullet holes in the vehicles. It just immediately starts off and you see pockets of smoke. What happened here? Was this an A-10? Was this an outbreak? Was it a giant force of armed soldiers? To me, the only thing, this is Hollywood Civil War.
Yes.
Okay? That's what I'm trying to say.
This is the Walking Dead Civil War.
That's it. This immediately starts out with regurgitated footage from Walking Dead or the Hollywood movie Zombieland.
Yeah, Zombieland.
That's what this is. This isn't what it looks like. This isn't what happens. That's not the way this looks, okay? Because not everyone's going to get involved. Did everyone get involved in the Watts riots? Do you think everyone in Ukraine is fighting a war? Because there's malls operating right now. This isn't what it would look like. It's small pockets, okay? This is not what it looks like. So let's just take it down a notch, Hollywood. But here we already are starting. Here's the rest.
Ramps up activity.
The White House issued warnings to the Western forces as well as the Florida Alliance.
The three-term president assures the uprising.
Pause it real quick. You notice one thing that they put in there?
The Western forces and the Florida Alliance?
Yes, but it's a third-term president.
Right.
So now they're trying to do like, oh, look, they're going to come in and they're going to do whatever executive order. Like, oh, now I'm going to do a third term because I'm the one that's going to freaking change everything. And that's what's going to cause this big civil war. Right.
But this restaurant's open. And this little five and dime is open. By the way, there's a reason why we're talking about this. Okay, we're gonna tell you everything. Here it is.
Swiftly.
Let me know if you want to try anything on.
I guess aware there's like a pretty huge civil war going on all across America.
We just try to stay out. With what we see on the news, seems like it's for the best.
Citizens of America. The so-called Western forces of Texas and California have suffered a very great defeat at the hands of the United States military.
Mr. President, do you regret the use of airstrikes against American citizens?
No, we're doing it now. There's no fucking way an F-35 is going to fly at 150 feet to drop ordnance, okay? Please. And it's not going to be used in this mission. You don't need to. You can use drones.
So yeah, this would be a 100% a drone war in every shape or fashion.
This is a waste of money. There's no way they're going to spend $125,000 to fuel up this fucking bird when they can literally get a 9-volt battery and put a drone up there and kill your ass from 30,000 feet. It's stupid. There's no reason to flex the arms of freedom and democracy. There's no reason to show the military force and might of the U.S. military against its civilian populace because its civilian populace isn't a threat.
But see, and this is the problem. People are going to use this movie as a precursor, like, oh, look what's going to happen. This is why we need to prepare. We need to do all this crap. It's like, no, you don't.
No.
If you think that we are going to get this bad, this world is so screwed that if the U.S. is doing this, that means the rest of the world is gone. And now we are turning on ourselves.
You might as well make a movie based off or change your life because of Independence Day or Red Dawn, right? It's like, oh my God, this is if Hollywood's making a movie about it, it's right up there with Godzilla and the Transformers. Okay,
I would love a Transformer.
If it's a civil war, this is what it's going to look like. It's not going to be what it looks like, and I'll tell you why in a second. Okay, but let's just continue to watch this bullshit.
They're moving to D.C. today.
You need to go down there.
They shoot journalists on sight in the Capitol. Every instinct in me says this is death. Blooded.
Every time I survived a war zone, I thought I was sending a warning home. Don't do this. But here we are.
There's some kind of misunderstanding here. What? Well, you're American, okay?
Why is your finger on the fucking... Get your booger hook off the bang switch, dipshit.
Well, look at the glasses
What
he's
are you
wearing?
wearing? Ruby red tactical glasses.
Freaking Elton John Special Forces over here.
When did you have a chance to frost your hair, fucker?
Did he steal all your gel?
And who uses metal mags anymore? Seriously, man? Composite's the way to go, brother.
Well, they're trying to make it real military. Like, oh, look, this is what they hand out.
Right.
This is what we
then
need.
don't give him a stock fucking barrel and don't give him a stock rig. I mean, he still has the fucking plastic.
That's all they had the money for on this.
Give me a break.
For this movie set.
Give me a fucking break. What type of rig is that? I love how he has a sling on it, but I know, dude. Don't even get me started.
But he does have an EOTech. It looks like.
Oh yeah.
So
right. Listen, let's use $800 optics on a stock freaking
on a
model.
$500 gun. Yes.
$249. That's probably a fucking M&P AR-15. I mean, give me a break. Give me a break.
Okay. What kind of American are you?
I'm an American.
You don't know?
Nobody carries their weapon like that. If he's strapped to chest, his hand's not on the handle. If he's going ahead and he's got it crooked in the rest of his arm, you're not seeing this. If he's at the ready position and he's ready to go, that is extended and that is being utilized as a deterrent. Right there, this whole thing with guys resting, engaged with people who are a threat and resting your weapon like this, give me a break. This isn't what is the guy in Vietnam? Full Metal Jacket. Big Mother or what?
Animal Mother.
Animal Mother, where he's got his M60 and he's sitting like this with his M. This isn't fucking Vietnam, folks. This isn't a Stanley Kubrick film.
The Western forces.
Okay, you don't cock anything with an AR when you come up. This whole thing where they're engaging some sort of mechanism to ready the weapon, there is no ready. This isn't a 38. Okay, seriously, just 1 second. Just fucking drive me crazy with movies. Listen. There's nothing to cock. What are you cocking?
Well, I love everyone thinks like, oh, let's do this great shotgun noise on a pistol or a revolver that doesn't need anything.
Right.
Like a revolver that you.
I'm readying my selector switch.
But this is Hollywood. This is why you don't believe this is stupid movies for entertainment. And I'm betting that the Democrats are going to use this as like, oh, look at what the Republicans are doing. This is a cry to all Republicans to come out and get your militias ready to go.
Right. And Kristen Dunst is our representative. Hold on.
The Western forces will reach the White House on July 4th.
Oh my God.
Get in the car! Get in the car! Move!
You're gonna hang back.
I'm not hanging back.
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless America.
Give me a fucking break.
This is...
I know they did Ex Machina and they've done a couple Annihilation and a couple of other films. Okay, that's all great. But the reason why we're bringing this to you today is because that is complete dog shit.
Yes.
It's not because it's a dog shit movie, because there's been a lot of movies that are dog shit, like American Sniper. I mean, it's a good movie, I guess, but they're not necessarily... Okay, well... Best war movie ever made that's realistic to what it's like.
That's realistic.
Take your time.
Yeah, give me.
Take your time. Take your time.
No. Not like there's none that's actually popping in mind that could be close enough that I'm like, okay, I can kind of get behind this.
Yeah. How about here, let's go through the list. Because I think this is important. Best. Because I think there's a different perspective on war. Okay, so some people will say, "Oh yeah, this movie is just right there." And it's because
Full Metal Jacket, yes, done.
and I want to give you the list. Lone Survivor, realistic or not realistic?
Okay, Lone Survivor.
Mark Wahlberg.
No.
SEAL Team. Okay, right. The combat sequences. Yes.
Yeah. Well,
the rolling down the hill and at 80 miles an hour and smacking into a tree. Okay, Luttrell broke his back. These guys went through, but it's Hollywood. Okay, but the enigma of taking out the goat herder or leaving him alive. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah. Well, someone on here put Restrepo, which, yeah, that was a documentary. So, yes, obviously that's going to be realistic.
Right. Black Hawk Down.
I would say partially. From
Yeah,
that
pretty. When it comes to snafu, like
snafu and urban
guy falling
combat.
down a rope and fucking and rappelling down, who's done it 1,000 times and then hits the ground. Yeah, realistic. Completely fucking realistic. The overall loss, Black Hawk Down was pretty good.
Yep. Someone else in here put Hurt Locker. That movie is so freaking stupid. I forget, there was a EOD tech who went through and he found like 130 discrepancies on all this stupid bullshit. Like, an EOD team is not going out by themselves, like a 3-person pack in a single vehicle going out to do an IED.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things that are freaking wrong with it. And that stupid suit, you don't wear that in combat. If you really think they're going to stop, put on a freaking that big ass suit and go out and do anything, you're wrong. Because as soon as someone sees that, like, hey, guess what? Everyone's going to be shooting at them because that looks weird as shit. And that's just a huge indicator, along with radios, of, hey, you're special. We should probably shoot you. It's like, that movie is so freaking stupid. It is extremely irritating to see, like, oh, look, this is what it's like. It's like, no, it's not. You're fucking dumb.
When people ask me, they're like, okay, what's wartime in the military like? I will give you that no movie will ever get it right, because you're never going to build the camaraderie. You're never going to build the fucking chicken shit type officers that are there. You're never going to, when you have a shitty battalion commander, or you've got a horrible first sergeant or a chief petty officer who doesn't know what they're doing, how chow is not good, how taking a shit is a logistical nightmare sometimes in certain situations, because just dry toilet paper. There, dry toilet paper. Good luck. Good luck finding dry toilet paper. There are a lot of things that they're never going to get right. But you want to watch one of the most accurate war movies of all time? Good Morning Vietnam. Because that is most military people's experiences behind the scenes, with a little taste of combat or a little taste of loss, but with a whole bunch of logistical bullshit bureaucratic red tape. That Good Morning Vietnam is probably one of the most accurate. Another great one, Glory. I wasn't in the Civil War. I don't fucking know. I wasn't there. But if you want to talk about something that the bureaucratic red tape of the military, that movie does it all. Pay, getting clothes and boots, getting ammunition, getting weapons, being actually put into combat after training, a hurry up and wait situation, being promised to engage the enemy and never doing it. Glory is a fantastic movie. There are plenty of good movies. Full Metal Jacket. I wasn't in Vietnam, but I've been told by Vietnam veterans that it was extremely accurate from a sense of camaraderie and loss and reality. It's not the flash and bullets. It's not 13 hours.
No.
It's not.
And 13 hours is bullshit in and of itself.
It's not American fucking Sniper. It's We Were Soldiers.
Yes.
It's devastating loss. It's not the Patriot. Give me a fucking break. If the war was fought, the American Revolution was fought like the Patriot fought, that shit would have been over in 21 days. If the American soldiers said fuck the British column lines of musket to musket, and we're going to fight guerrilla warfare, and they completely changed their entire process, and Washington changed it to guerrilla warfare, that would have been over in 21 days, because they would have killed every single officer. They would have targeted officers, killed them, had a leaderless army, and then picked off the rest. That's the way it should have been fought, but it wasn't, because America followed the old style powdered wig, musket to musket fighting style, until we woke up and started to hit them behind the lines, and started hitting their logistics, and started hitting their English vessels in the harbor that was bringing in munitions, and having the French release the French Navy on the English, which changed the battle completely, but wasn't considered honorable. Who gives a shit? It's war.
Yeah, it's war. There's no honor in war.
My point is I'm not. There's always somebody who knows more. My examples in conflict are more from a support standpoint. Michael has seen things a little bit different than most people too. We've seen it from an admin standpoint, a support standpoint, and downrange standpoint. And I will tell you that these movies are complete dog shit. This whole Civil War movie is now being taken by the left as right-wing propaganda of what's going to happen if Donald Trump gets in power. And there are other people like Glenn Beck who have been salivating for the end of the world since he was fired from Fox News or left. And this is why I stopped listening to Glenn Beck. I used to love listening to Glenn Beck. I thought he was a Paul Harvey and Rush Limbaugh mixed together. I loved his voice. But then here's Glenn Beck. Folks, I don't want to alarm you. And I'm not saying this is going to happen.
But it's going to happen.
But it's going to fucking happen. And it's going to happen tomorrow. After tomorrow's show. So make sure to stay tuned, folks, because tomorrow the world will end after my show. So make sure to turn in. Glenn Beck, folks, I'll be back tomorrow.
See, and this is when I love when all these people are like, oh, look, there's going to be this civil war. If you even think that that's something that you want or you're trying to put out there for views because you think this is going to happen, I hope they understand what that is actually going to do to this country. And whatever lifestyle that you thought you had is going to be freaking demolished.
That's it.
And guess what? You have all these big old talk show hosts. Like, who do you think the first people they're going to go after?
That's right.
Like, Glenn Beck's going to be number one.
Number one.
Because guess what? That is that rallying cry that you have to silence so that way you don't have any type of Wolverine's freaking behind the lines crap, because that's going to be the guy that's putting out bullshit that people are going to listen to, who are going to do those type of activities.
If this shit fires off, Mike, you're never going to fucking hear from me again. I'm going to poof. I am going to be as far off the grid as humanly possible, which means none.
Yep.
Because you can't be off the grid anymore. It's impossible. With FLIR, satellite tasking, with drones, you're
like, they're going to find you.
Where are you going to go? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my show. You know what I'm going to say? Governments change, regimes change, and if you want to survive, shut the fuck up and wait for your moment. Comply, and then you can do disobedience.
Yep.
Until that moment, do like the Jews did and shut the fuck up. Try to get out of country. Because, listen, survival is the ultimate. I don't have the luxury to go play G.I. Joe and Red Dawn. My kids and my wife, I'm dead because of them. Do you understand? If I try to take my children out and my kids out and try to go into the mountains, I'm dead. You ain't going to fight a fucking civil war with your children and your wife, folks. Can we just stop this bullshit? This is the Glenn Beck program, and this is what Glenn's been waiting for. This movie came out, and then all of a sudden Glenn's talking about civil war. Oh, geez, what a coinkydink. What a coincidence, Mike. Do you think this was planned?
Oh, this is very strategically released right now, so that way it can build up. And when, what was it, like July or something that it actually comes out?
July 4th.
It's
on Independence Day.
Perfectly coming out right before the elections. So
I don't know when it's coming out. I can't speak to that. All I do know is that the supposed invasion of taking over DC was supposed to happen on July 4th. Let's watch.
Yes.
Here we go.
Does he go to jail, or it would actually be prison, wouldn't it? It's a felony. So would he go to prison before the election?
Hold on, folks. We're getting some. They're interrupting my feed.
Is that what's happening?
I'm getting. No, I seriously doubt that.
Come on. Yes. Hey, we said Civil War, so obviously they're.
It's cutting in and out. Let's try to get it to catch up. It's starting to work. I noticed I dropped viewers. We were sitting at like 100 something, and then it went. Pew, now it's down to 56. So I did get a notification that the feed lessened.
Yeah, on Facebook it stopped for a minute because it said it had like a low signal or something.
How many people are on Instagram right now? How many people are watching on Instagram? Because I might cut off Instagram. All right, Instagram people, I love you, but we're just working with Instagram, trying to get this fixed. I'm going to try to lessen the bandwidth a little bit. So we're going to end it here. Join us over on Facebook. You can join us over on Twitter. You go to Spreely.tv. Let's jump out. Stay right there. Let me end Instagram and see if that helps.
I love technology.
Yeah. Continue without Instagram. Okay, let me check my bandwidth. See, I've got all these little tools, diagnostic tools. Hold on. If I could see. Holy shit.
There we go.
All right. Let me just check my bandwidth.
No worries.
I've got it right here. All right. Mike, you see this?
Oh, yeah. There we go.
So average, we're running a 22 megabytes a second. We need about 25. So let's let that target line come in real quick. See, I'm seeing a bunch of spikes here.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. All right. We should be good now. Yeah, it's climbing back up. All right, people are back on. So leaving and coming back in helps, folks. And I'm sorry about that. There's not much we can do. When we have, when you talk about civil war, the government doesn't like it. That's Glenn Beck. We're being throttled by the government. They're watching everything we're doing.
Oh, soon as you say something, now there's satellites being tasked on this house.
Folks, you need to tune in tomorrow.
And we'll tell you all about it.
After my show. The world will end after you watch tomorrow. See, Glenn Beck, man, once he became all doom and gloom and shit, I just got turned off. And he stopped it for a while. I was really proud of him. And then they had to release this movie. Now he's back at it. Let's listen to Mark Levin. And it's not Glenn Beck. Just listen to this. You'll hear it. This is Glenn Beck and Mark Levin. Now, I'm a Mark Levin fan. I've got his books right behind me. But Mark Levin has been off his rocker since the 2020 election, and he hasn't gotten back. This guy stole an election. And oh, no, I can't say that anymore. Okay, well, I'm going to stop. Here's the thing. The one thing I love is that I will never stop saying something. If Spreely TV or any of my, the people who pay me to do this, and right now it's only my advertisers, which they have no control over what I say. Facebook pays me, but they don't control what I say. Spreely doesn't.
You would be gone if they could.
Yeah, nobody controls what I say, and nobody will. But Mark Levin, Mark's a good dude, but he is beholden to his providers, because he was all about stolen election, and then he changed it. I've been one of the only conservatives who have stuck to their scruples when it comes to the election, January 6th, everything else, and I have not changed my story, not one iota. In fact, I don't think there's a position I have flip-flopped on. If anyone can tell me what it is, please let me know in chat. Let's listen to the rest of this and listen to Mark Levin.
Well, there's a couple of things here. Number one, you would immediately move if you're counsel to stay any sentence, because you have multiple issues to appeal. And number two, you have a presidential election, and you shouldn't be trying to deny or influence even further than you have the ability of people to make a decision like that. I don't put anything past these people. Number three, you're correct. It would be a federal prison. Let me ask you a question. How would that work? You're going to have a whole wing of a federal prison with Secret Service personnel staged there? I mean, look at the insanity that they have created with these phony charges, the creative charges, the arguments that they're making. The Democrats, their judges, their prosecutors, their Department of Justice, the Biden regime has brought us to this place of unimaginable stupidity, which is going to have an impact forevermore on this republic. It simply is. And then they hear Chris Christie say, well, he's going to be convicted. So to give support for this kind of behavior sickens me. And then we have, we can't impeach Joe Biden. We don't have enough information. You have nothing on Trump. The Espionage Act has never been used against a former president, a former vice president, a former cabinet secretary. They're using the Espionage Act against a former president, a SWAT team. They go, does he have classified documents? Are you kidding me? I worked for an attorney general. It would never have reached that point. He would have picked up the phone, called Donald Trump, say, Donald, I'm sending guys down there to get it. Just get out of the way. We're taking the stuff. Okay? Okay. Case over. That's not what they did here. It's appalling and January 6th.
So
basically they're attacking him for free speech.
So Mark, help me out on.
Where holy shit.
You gotta love Glenn Beck. Is because I haven't watched this clip, so I could be wrong. Like Glenn, it sounds like Mark is is building up for the Civil War thing, and Glenn is trying to bring him to reality. Because I don't want to dishonor Glenn Beck, just like I don't want to dishonor Benny. I get it wrong sometimes. I have seen a huge change in Glenn. Where he is more down to earth and more realistic than I think I've ever seen him. I really like the man. And I know Justin Barclay fills in for him from time to time. And I know I'm not Glenn Beck's cup of tea. I know I'm not Justin Barclay's cup of tea. I've reached out to Justin and he's like, because he knows I'm not a God-fearing man. I'm not like all a Bible. Mm-hmm. I respect Christianity. I respect people who believe, and I would never dishonor or defame God or try to steal his light. I'm not that guy. I have questions, and my faith is it's trying to figure itself out, and I have inequities like everybody. But I really do like Glenn, and I would love to have a conversation with him. He's a historian. Just his collection of historic items is ridiculous if you haven't seen some of the things he has. But here it sounds like he's trying to have Mark Levin put the proverbial horse caca back into the horse.
Because, I mean, he seems like he's hitting every single ridiculous talking point. That's like, oh, well, all this shit, like, all right, there's some stuff that you have to get over. It's like, it's not going to change. Half the crap isn't even true. Like, let's bring it back to reality just a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we can actually have a conversation.
Yeah. For the people who are saying Rumble's not working, Kevin, I'm sorry. We tested it. It was working. The internet's having issues, folks. If you don't know this, look at our show, involvement today. It's 70s. It's never this low. It's usually up in the 125 to 200s. The internet's been having struggles. Instagram is having issues with its visuals. Facebook has been having problems. This is normal right now because there are DOS attacks going on all over. Let's listen to the rest of this.
On this, because I feel exactly the same passion that you feel. And you can hear it in your voice right now. What happens to half the country when they see Donald Trump, God forbid, convicted? I mean, there comes a time when you're just like, oh, okay, I can't deal with this anymore because it's so far out of reality and constitutional republic.
Well, what happens is half the country will not accept the election of the Democrat, whomever it is. Half the country, part of half the country anyway, will be furious about what's taken place. We will no longer accept the results of elections, period. The Democrats started that as well, starting with 2000 and Bush, but Bush is too stupid to understand that they started with him. And the republic will be forever damaged. Forever damaged. That's what's going on here. And they talk about a division in the country and so forth. They are creating the atmosphere for some kind of a civil war. I'm not even talking about a violent civil war like the past civil war.
What
other civil wars are there?
What are we talking about? Like a cultural civil war? I will no longer watch Hollywood movies.
Great, you'll probably do a lot better. In your life.
What type of civil war isn't violent? Are we talking about like Captain America and Spider-Man where there's no real loss except for who did they lose? They lost who was the Black Iron Man? Of course, the black guy dies.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't remember.
That was an acceptable loss, right? Because everyone's like, what is the Iron Patriot? Is that who it was? Nobody. See, we don't even know his name. Nobody cares. That's the only guy we lost in Civil War, and everyone's like, meh, who cares? It was more of an accident. It was a malfunction anyway. No true attrition. Captain America and Tony Stark. Now, if Captain America would have died, now Tony Stark did die, but that was Avengers, and that's a whole other story. But Civil War really had no ramifications. A bunch of civilians died, but who cares? They're superheroes. What type of civil war are we talking about? Let's hear him explain.
Not accept the law. Half the country does not accept our institutions, the judiciary. Where half the country does not accept anything that's taking place in this country.
See, and this is where my immediate thought for that is if we get to a point we have that much distrust in the federal government, do you really think the states aren't going to go have a convention and be able to put a lot of that to bed and actually come together and fix and not shorten is not the right word, but like put the federal government in check and take away some of their powers.
Listen, folks. Okay. Civil war. We've already established this. It would be civilian versus civilian, and that's demographic versus demographic, inner city versus suburb, okay? Black versus white, okay? Dogs and cats, mass hysteria, living together, okay? A state by state, okay, give me a fucking break. Let me explain why. Okay, because let's just say Texas says, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to war with the rest of the country. We're going to send up a squadron of fighters. NORAD goes, boop, your radar's off.
Yep.
Wait a second, what? What do you mean? We turned it off. You can't do that. We can't fight a war against the United States unless you leave our radar on. Tough shit. Oh, all right. Well, fine. Then we're going to send our submarines out of Texas. You don't have any. Oh. Okay.
What about the rest of their Navy?
No.
What about the Cajun Navy?
No. Oh, I know what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and we're going to send in battalions of from the National Guard into where? Oklahoma?
So on that,
hold on a second. We got a caller.
Yep.
Caller, where are you from?
So Uncle Dickie.
All right,
thanks
Stumpy.
to
All right,
you.
Stumpy, hang tight. Let Mike get his thought out. Then I want to hear your thoughts. Go ahead, Mike.
So people also need to understand that the folks that are in the National Guard, or this is not going to be the tip of the spear. These are folks that are patriotic, that want to serve their country, but also still have a normal life. Realistically, yes, they have their 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year crap. Do you know how much training they actually do during most of that? Not a lot. Maybe in that 2 weeks, you might get some training in. That the rest of it is getting accounts, getting accountability, and then you're like, okay, good, time to go home, and we'll see you next month. So even if those folks are going to come out, you're not going to have your best fighters. You're not going to have these uber skilled. Like, yes, there are a few sprinkled in there, but those folks are going to get annihilated in a second.
It's not going to happen. You're not going to have 13 states, 19 states, 25 states secede from the United States of America because there's no reason to do that.
No.
You don't need to secede because you have the 10th Amendment. As long as there are still legislative powers within the states, as long as the Supreme Court continues to uphold the Constitution, then you don't need to go ahead and declare civil war. There's no reason, there's no benefit, because the problem is that our economies are so intertwined. California can't live without the middle of the states, and the middle of the states can't live without California. California and New York, Florida, and Texas provide the economy of the United States from the financial dollars. The hospitality industry, the mercantile, the goods, the water, the electricity, the food, all comes from the Midwestern states. You can't have either or. We can't survive without their workman's comp and the overall welfare that they provide for this country, and they can't provide or live without the things that we provide. Texas has no reason to secede from the Union, neither does California. And the fact that in this bullshit movie that California and Texas secede together, they would be killing each other before they would actually secede together. Uncle Stumpy's in the house. What do you want to talk about, buddy?
It's on and off topic, but I'd just like to ask you guys what you think about the Convention of States.
Oh, that's an easy one. Mike, do you have an opinion on it, or do you want me to jump in? You decide.
Go first.
Convention of States. Now, okay. This is the problem with the country today, is people hear something on a major talk show and go, the Convention of States, okay, Convention of States is the only way we can succeed. Convention of States doesn't happen because, first and foremost, we have a processes for the states to get what they want anyway. There's a reason why Roe v. Wade was kicked back to the states, and it's a real simple thing. It's just like marijuana or it's Obamacare. Let's take a look at all three. Obamacare was found to be unconstitutional. It wasn't outlawed. It wasn't banned. It was kicked back to the House and the Senate to go ahead and change the laws that were unconstitutional, which was the mandate, which was a tax for not having insurance. You couldn't do it. So what did they do? It's just like car insurance. If you drive a car without car insurance, you get a ticket. You don't pay the ticket, you go ahead and go to jail. If you pay the ticket and do it again, you have to pay the ticket or you go to jail. Then you do it again, you have to pay the ticket and get an SR22. Then if you're driving without it with an SR22, you lose your right to drive a car. And then if you drive a car, you go to jail for fucking 5 years. That's not a tax. The Obamacare mandate was you buy insurance or else. And if you don't buy insurance, you have to pay the United States government through tax a fine in order to do that. Well, that was unconstitutional. Difference between car insurance and health insurance being mandated by the government. Now, that didn't go away. Obamacare is still in place. It's just they removed the mandate in the unconstitutional part, and then the courts got out of it. That is process working. That's federal government working. Whether you agree with it or not doesn't matter. It still worked. Now, let's go ahead and take something else. Let's take a look at when we're talking about a constitution or a convention of states in order to change a part of the Constitution. You can do that right now. And you can actually propose a constitutional amendment. So let's look at drugs, for instance, like marijuana. You go ahead and you have certain states like Colorado, California, Oregon, and other states who adopt the legalization of marijuana. And that's decided at the state level. Once 50% of those states, or 66% of those states, in this case, 75 is a 3/4 in order to change the constitutional amendment, 66 or a 2/3 majority in order to propose, decide that, hey, 26 or 22 some odd states agree with a constitutional amendment for using marijuana on a legal standpoint for each state. You would codify an amendment to the Constitution to make it a national or federal law because the states agree. Because you wouldn't need a convention of states. You would propose an amendment and everybody for that state who has legalization of marijuana would vote for it on a national scale, and then you codify. So that's the legalization of marijuana, and it will happen. It's happening. It's happening everywhere. Everywhere is legalizing marijuana. It's going to be a federal law. Just embrace it. It'll probably be the 28th Amendment. Okay? So let's go ahead and look at something else. Let's take a look at abortion. Abortion was removed because Supreme Court justices, white Supreme Court liberal justices, imposed and attached on a privacy amendment and the 14th Amendment that a woman's right to privacy allowed her to murder a child, which is bullshit. It's complete bullshit. It was an overreach, and it stood for decades as we killed 67 million babies. Well, Supreme Court looked at that and said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to kick it back to the states under the 10th Amendment, the reserve powers of the states, and let them decide. Now, when 2/3, and I'm almost done, when 2/3 of the states agree with abortion and pass legislation mandating that abortion is legal, those states can propose an amendment to codify Roe v. Wade into a constitutional amendment to allow it to be legal. But the problem is that they don't have those votes. They don't even have 50% agreement on this because they don't have the law in place. So therefore, kicking it back to the states was constitutional. Now, all these states proposing bans on women and what's going on in Texas, that shit's wrong. I think it's horribly fucking wrong. Just like I think open, unfettered access to abortion is wrong. I think a compromise needs to be made, which is best for the public. And the public does not agree with conservatives or Democrats on this. They're very much liberals and conservatives. They're somewhere in the middle. So when all these states can finally agree and find legislation that they can agree on from a 2/3 majority, they can propose an amendment and vote on it. You don't need civil war. Now, why would you do a convention of states?
You also
don't
ahead. Need convention of states, then.
No,
is
you
what
don't.
You're saying.
Well, that's why we haven't had it. We haven't seen
Which
it.
Which is what I wanted to hear.
But hold on a second. Now, the only problem with convention of states is you have a majority of the states come in and open up the Constitution and say there needs to be broad sweeping changes that take place. We have a 2/3 majority that agree, and we're having certain legislative bodies from a majority in the House which are going against it. But the will of the people from a populative standpoint and a senatorial standpoint want this to take place, and the House blocks it, or the Senate blocks it and the House wants it to move forward. And you basically have a situation where the states want this to happen, but the federal government is not reflecting what the people want. You would then call a convention of states, which would create a 2/3 majority of those states would have to come in and open up the Constitution for reinterpretation and amendments to alter in order to change the way it operates and works to fulfill what they want for the people. It is a dangerous proposition because If that does not pass and you have some sort of resistance inside that convention of people doing something against the will of the people, you could have amendments changed that have absolutely no intention of being changed when you called the convention. It is a dangerous proposition. It is a nuclear option. And I don't believe it is a viable option. When we do a convention of state, there is too much risk for things to change that we don't want. Stump, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
My concern with the convention of states is that it would only be a shift in power.
Correct. An unelected power. An unelected power that does not represent the people. It is circumventing the process that is in place. Now, some people say, well, how do you get the government to balance the budget? That is a completely different problem. That has nothing to do with a convention of states isn't going to get the government to balance the budget. That is a spending issue. How do you get the federal government to balance the budget? That's a great question.
Yeah, start kicking people out of Congress after a couple of years.
Start making it important. Put it on the fucking ticket. Stop making abortion the number one issue. Stop making the border the number one issue. Stop making overall job security the number one issue. And say, if you don't balance the budget, we're not voting for you. And have every single American agree. Well, they won't do that because it's not sexy and the news isn't going to tell you what to think. The problem is you're anticipating that most people in the general public are smart, and they're not. They're fucking stupid. That's the problem. You think they're educated. I wouldn't have a show if people were educated because they'd be like, dude, you're telling me things I already know.
See, and this is why if it doesn't come out on a freaking reel on Instagram or Facebook, a majority of this country is never going to know about it.
Mike, I'm going to say something right now that is completely arrogant, which is pretty normal. I guarantee you this. If you stopped and watched all 555 of my videos for the next year and a half and every day watched one, you would be one of the most educated people about politics, current events, military analysis, and you would learn something every single day. You don't have the fucking patience. Every day I make a 15-minute, every other day I make a 15-minute video where you can learn something, an unbiased perspective, truly with a take that is right down where it should be, both sides, and giving you the nuts straight. And you guys, not you, but most people would rather watch a 30-second video of me making fun of people putting flowers on meat.
Yes.
That's the truth.
Like, that's where we're at now is people just care about like, oh, give me either my hit the feels or give me something that's going to be pissed off or that I can engage in really quick that's under 30 seconds.
That's right.
And then let me move on to the next because I don't have any more time for that.
That's it, Stumpy. That's the answer. Is that a convention of states takes the power out of the intended, it takes the people out of the equation. And you're giving power, unfettered access for the Constitution to change. I don't want that. I want the filibuster. I want the 3/4 majority to change a constitutional amendment. It is almost impossible to change a constitutional amendment. It is actually a lot easier to propose one. But once an amendment is made, it is almost impossible to change it. Hence why abortion in Roe v. Wade wasn't a constitutional amendment. It was an attachment on a constitutional amendment, which is not the same fucking thing. Does that make sense?
Well, the reason I brought up the whole topic is because I see a lot of people supporting a convention of states, and I'm thinking to myself, you don't know the dangers involved. You're creating another power.
Yeah.
And we see what happens when these people get in power.
You mean a politician would abuse their power
Yeah,
and they can do it for personal
like,
gain?
wait a minute. I don't know enough about the convention of states to even speak on the subject, and that's why I called in.
Well, people, listen, I've done a convention of states show. Go figure. You can find it on Rumble. You can find it, I don't think on YouTube, but Facebook. I'll try to find it for you. But I did one of my first year that I did this was me breaking down the Constitution. Like every day I would pick something on the Constitution and teach people. It got old and everyone got sick of me just fucking talking about the Constitution all the time. I still do it, and that's where I live. And I've changed my show to be a little bit more palatable to the small consumer, the person who doesn't have the ability to sit here for 2 hours. But it's all out there in the ether. I've done that. And that's where where I would love to go on PragerU. But once again, I'm not up here thumping a Bible, so they're not going to go ahead and put me on because I cuss. I've embraced that fact. I cuss. That's what I do. But the funny thing is that you could bring any of those people on here. I would have a conversation with Jordan Peterson. I would have a conversation with Cenk Uyghur or Bill Maher. I don't care who they are. And for anyone to say that they don't cuss, I've heard these guys when there's hot mics. I've heard Bill O'Reilly. I've heard Bill Maher. I've heard Glenn Beck on a hot mic. Give me a fucking break. You guys can keep pretending that somehow you're altruistic and pure because you thump the Bible all the time, but I know who you really are, and you have the inequities of every man. You're a sinner. So let's embrace our sin versus stop sitting here and saying that, oh, I don't do it because I have white mics and white hair in an ambient room that's all white, and it seems like holy water is being sprayed down from Jesus on me. Give me a break. You're a man. You're a sinner. Embrace that you are, and stop trying to pretend you aren't. Convention of States. It's the nuclear option. It takes the power of the people out, and the people who truly want it don't understand its powers. They're libertarians who believe that once you give someone an unbalanced system that's not checked, that they're going to have good intentions and do the things that you want with it. Give me a break. Anyone who believes that this entire government is not 100% corrupt on both sides. Look at Speaker Johnson. He's going to fund Ukraine. He already proposed the Taiwanese, Israel, and Ukraine bill and pushed it through. He's made he changed the appropriation laws and pushed through the budget. This guy, there isn't anybody with any backbone in Washington.
No.
And Republicans are too damn busy trying to make the Democrats happy, and the Democrats don't give a shit. We have to stop apologizing for who we are. There is nothing wrong with saying that we are pro-life. There's nothing wrong with that. But you know what? You better have the best programs for adoption in this country if you're going to say that, which we don't. You better say we have the best education on contraception for kids in schools, which we don't.
How about just the best education?
Best education is to have unfettered access to contraception for anyone who's at the age of having a sexual relationship. Anybody. Because guess what? Parents, you're already fucking failing. If your kid's 13 and they're diddling their fucking boyfriend in the back of a car, you're a failure as a fucking parent. You're a fucking failure. I can't control my kid. Fuck you. Yes, you can. Don't let them out. You have the ability to stop your kids from having sex. And if they're listen, my daughter's 13 years old. She's 13 years old. She has no desire to do drugs. She has no desire to have sex at all in any way, shape, or form because she understands the ramifications, but she still has condoms. 13. Why? Because I lost my virginity at fucking 11. I'm not stupid. I know what goes out in the world, and I know how convincing boys can be. And I'm not going to put her in a position where she decides to go ahead and do something illicit and does it and without my knowledge, because honestly, sexual hormones are crazy. I have had the conversation with my daughter. I know she won't have sex with a boy, but I don't know what that'll look like when she falls in love at 16. So I'm going to prepare her now and educate her. Parents, if you haven't done the same, then you're a failure as a fucking parent. I don't care.
That's the problem there, is that you're expecting the parents to actually parent and not give everything to the schools, or no, the government's supposed to do that. That's not my job anymore.
That's it.
And that's what we've come to, is people aren't taking that personal responsibility of, guess what? This is your kid. That's a consequence of a decision that you made.
Right.
Now it's your turn to instill whatever morals that you want to do, and everything's being pushed by the wayside. Like, oh no, that's someone else's problem. It's not mine. I'm not going to go punish my kid for doing something wrong.
Just because you put blinders on doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Just be like, or when I was a kid, we believed in God and we never would do it. This is a different world.
Yes.
I was going to do a show today that I'm going to have to do later. And I got to convince Mike to either stick around or do it Friday morning. But that, I'm going to say this and I want you to hear me, because there's not a ton of people on, because we're still getting this horrible internet traffic. People need God, but people don't need God anymore. Let me make the statement. People need God, but people don't need God anymore. And the reason why is if you go and look at the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, there was unfettered access to controlled information in this country. Everybody read the same books.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody read To Kill a Mockingbird. Everybody read Inherent the Wind. Everyone read Little House on the Prairie. Everyone went ahead and read the Iliad and Homer. Everyone did all the same things. They learned the same history. And in the end of the day, everyone either woke up or ended the day saying a prayer to God. Because that's what we were taught. And you can't say, oh, I didn't learn that in my house, because 96% of the United States was Christian during those decades. 96% of the country believed in some sort of religion.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody had it in their home. Oh, I didn't. Okay, fine. You're the one fucking person. Okay, fine. You're the one heathen.
But see, that's where.
Well, hold on. I'm almost done. Sorry, I gotta finish this. We all learned the same thing. We all ate the same thing. We all waited for the same movies to come out. We all watched Jaws. We all watched Raiders. And we did this because there was a lack of access to information to the contrary. So therefore, there were very few groups of people who would go to college and then they would start reading The Boat Rocker, or they would start reading existentialist books on Hinduism or patriarchal society or feminist ways in the Feminista playbook or Saul Alinsky playbook or whatever. And they would be turned on to these ideas that were radical. And this is what we saw in Vietnam, but still was not a mass epidemic because most people had a lack of information, had a lack of understanding, and simply trusted the government and trusted the educational process and system and the nightly news and what they told us. And honestly, the hippies were the free thinkers of today, which is absolutely fucking insane. But then something happened, and I'm going to give it to you. It's right here. This replaced God. Instead of wearing a crucifix or having a Bible, instead of carrying these things into your heart, instead of putting your hands together and praying every night and every morning, this is the first thing you swear allegiance to. Everything you want to think is at your access and at your fingertips. And the problem is there's no cohesiveness to the thought process anymore. There isn't one message. You have the access to unfettered access to anything you want to learn and anything you want to read in any order at any time of the day, at any minute with instant gratification, and learn at your own pace with no influence from anyone else if you choose so. We don't need God anymore. The allure of God and the answers to questions are all right here, according to most people, and they can't make the connection because a Bible with words, because the symbology of the church, the blood of Christ and his sacrifice isn't as sexy as some pornographic material or video game or Facebook endorphin hit that you get off this device. It's lost its allure. And people have found the answers that they're looking for and the false prophets they're looking for in this device. Now, is that me saying that God doesn't exist? Get your head out of your fucking ass. Is that me saying that you don't need God? No, that's not what I said. We need God, but we don't need God anymore. And that's why. That show is maybe a book. Maybe that show is a long article or something, but it's the truth. And this is why Christianity is, as well as the family unit, the nuclear family of having children, is dying. We are producing less kids for the first time in U.S. history and world history than ever before. Christianity is now down to 73%. They're anticipating that in the next 20 to 30 years, Christianity, by 2030, Christianity will fall below 51% for the first time in world history. We're losing our religion. And we're losing it one day at a time to this. Mike, go ahead and then Stump.
Well, one thing I was just going to add for that is when you said that we're actually losing the religion to where I know, at least in my case growing up, it felt like it was more forced on me from my parents where they're like, oh,
Right.
no, you have to do this because, and the age-old adage of like, no, because I'm telling you to, you have to do this. Instead of like, hey, let's learn about this. Let's see how the teachings you can apply it and what ideals you can actually pull out of it rather than like, no, you're going to go do this. I'm going to force you to do all these things and not tell you, or, hey, I didn't tell you this, but I signed you up and you're going to go lose your Wednesday night and your Saturday because I want you to do these things.
Right.
And then, 100% with the freaking cell phones that they have figured out how to hit our dopamine with these that we don't need anything else. I guarantee you there's so many people that go to a restaurant. Just look around.
Yes.
How many people are actually having conversations who they're with, or is everyone sitting there just staring at their freaking cell phones?
Right.
That's in everyday life. It's on there, and then of course they believe whatever they want to believe on it. And guess what? If you choose to practice religion, like, hey, that's great. If that's what you want to do, absolutely. But then all we actually see of most of these groups are the fanaticals that you're going out and you're like, that's why I don't want religion, is because half the people that I see and the shit that they're pulling, and they're going out in Walmart and freaking standing up and yelling at people saying like, this is why you're going to hell because you don't believe in all this. Like, that's all we see.
Right.
We don't see the folks who are actually going out and trying to do their good in community, try to spread the gospel and actually bring a community together. You get these people, or you get the Glenn Becks of Christianity that just out there saying, oh, this is why you're going to die and why you're going to go to hell. Right. It's like, you wonder why we're all alienated.
Yes, I agree with everything you're telling me, but those are anecdotal stories. We have to look at the collective. 96% of people believed in an organized religion, 1980s, 90s, and 2000s, and it's been dwindling ever since. I agree with everything you're saying. It was forced down my... I'm not saying religion is the answer. What I'm saying is it no longer is the answer. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And Darla just said, but Matt, God is on the phone. Show me where. You can download an app. You have to download the app.
Yep.
Because if you go to Barnes & Noble or go to any major bookstore, I don't even know if Barnes & Noble's around anymore, the Bible is now being categorized in the fiction section.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Holy shit.
It's now being put into fiction.
Oh, let's look it up.
Go look it up. Go look up Twitter and say Bible is put into fiction and show the video. But don't you understand, folks, that is the beginning of the end? It's not about, it would be like people just saying science is the only answer. It's a ridiculous notion when science is based upon man and man is fallible. And if man is fallible, man gets it wrong. The Bible wasn't written by man, but it was interpreted by man. So therefore, the Bible is fallible. This is why there's contradictions in the Bible. The word of God doesn't need to be answered through a book or a stone chapel. The word of God is your conscience. The word of God is that voice that you have inside of yourself that tells you the difference between right and wrong. And as long as you follow that moral compass, you should be okay through life. The problem is that there are no consequences for not following that moral compass. The laws don't hold us accountable. The progressive lawyers let these people out, and God doesn't hold us accountable. And everyone goes, oh, well, he will one day. But do you understand that the constant bombardment of this phone and all of this stuff and this neurotic bullshit that's hitting people 24 hours a day doesn't hold up to the threat of a possible one day you not being held accountable? People don't seem to understand anymore that people consider God to be a joke, that people laugh at him and consider him to be mythical like Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny, because there is no there anymore. It's not being talked about. That's the problem. Like, well, it is in my house, but you're the minority. It is no longer being talked about by our politicians. It's no longer in our movies. It's no longer being celebrated. Go look at The Bishop's Wife. Go look at It's a Wonderful Life during Christmas. Go look at the Christmas movies of yesteryear versus the Christmas movies of today. Are you fucking kidding me? Bad Santa, where a woman, fuck me Santa, fuck me Santa, fuck me Santa, is having sex with Santa Claus. Go look at the Santa who is a Norwegian fucking Viking who winds up murdering and killing people. That's the Santa movie that came out last year. Go look at Die Hard, which is considered a Santa movie. Even Christmas Story.
Didn't you see Bruce Willis just came out and said Die Hard is not a Christmas movie?
He has dementia too, and he's fucking wrong. And Bruce Willis is wrong. Okay, he has dementia. You can't do that. Stumpy, what do you think about what we're talking about? Are we crazy?
Yes.
Shut up.
No. I watched this show to get viewpoints other than my own, and I watched this show to learn. But one comment I had was very early on in life. I was turned off from organized religion.
Mm-hmm.
I saw organized religion as being corrupt. And later on in life, I realized that, religion is a good thing, but it can also get corrupted.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
But I think there's a
thing.
difference between a spiritual relationship. Go ahead.
Well, religion generally is like good orderly direction. If you don't believe in God, right? How about good orderly direction?
Yeah.
And that's religion. But organized religion, and I hate to say it, the Catholic Church is all about money.
Mm-hmm.
And from my perspective, from my point of view, I don't want to badmouth Catholics because there's nothing wrong with being a Catholic. But from my perspective, when I was about 10 years old, I never went to church. Right. My friends were all going to church on Sunday, and I went to church. I went to a Catholic church. I was baptized as a Catholic, so I went to the Catholic church, and I had no idea what it was like. And they come around with the basket. I didn't have any money, right? And this kid, who was older than me, he puts the basket out in front of me, and I'm like looking at him like, oh, bro, I ain't got no money. And he wouldn't back away. And the woman next to me gave me 2 quarters to put in the basket. And at that point, the kid left. And I left the Catholic Church that day saying, I am never going back to church on Sunday. They just humiliated me.
But Stump, we're not talking about church, right? Because I think every single person can agree that the church is corrupt, from the Catholic Church to the Vatican to Christianity.
Well, I'm referring to the church as organized religion.
Yeah,
and that might not be a good way to put it.
No, I'm not. Listen, I think organized religion is a complete waste of time. I think communal religion is what this country needs. And that is townships learning to celebrate community and togetherness and giving. And usually those are found through local churches. I think the days of Joel Osteen and the mega churches, those people should be in jail. I think Joel Osteen should be in fucking prison.
100%.
I think that guy is a complete douchebag. I think he is a criminal. I despise him. And Fox News sucks up to him, and fuck Fox. And fuck the conservatives who do. I can't. This is why I will never be a part. They will never promote my show. Because I think that most of the conservative voices out there are hypocrites and complete liars. And that's it. I'm not an organized religion guy, but I think there's local parishes, local churches, community churches. Those people are the salt of the earth, and they believe in their Lord and Jesus Christ as their Savior, or they may believe in something else other than that with slight modifications. But these are the people who give. These are the people who donate. These are the people who take care of the community, and they need to be represented. Here's the video real quick so we can watch it. Here it is. I found it for you.
I'm at Barnes & Nobles. I gotta show y'all this. This is really irritating to me. Y'all think you got jokes, huh? Fiction. Please help me understand why you put the Bible. And to all you very extremely predictable trolls that are gonna jump in here and be like, that's right where it belongs. You gonna end up right where you belong. You keep trolling God like that, bro. Trust me, God is a fact, and the Bible does not belong anywhere near fiction. Y'all have a blessed day.
Actually, comparative speaking, I'm not going to get a lot of fans when I say this. It does. Anything that has to base on faith isn't nonfiction. There is no incontrovertible fact that God exists. There isn't. Please provide me incontrovertible fact that God exists.
No, all of it's based off of faith, off of events.
It has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be. But that's like saying that that doesn't mean it disproves it, because there's a lot of science which is based on faith too. And that's why science is constantly evolving and changing. That's the one rule of science, and science is not any law in science isn't internal. It can change, and it's adaptive. Well, the Bible's the same way. We can sit here and say that we have factual evidence that the Romans and the persecution of Christians, and we can talk about that Jesus Christ did walk the earth, and we have incontrovertible evidence that he did. That's not what I'm saying. I said prove that God exists. You can't. So therefore, it's a fiction until it's not. Folks, antibiotics was fiction at one point. Nuclear fusion was fiction. Manned space flight was fiction. Does that mean it's not real? No. It just means that it's not quantifiable at this point. Now, is it quantifiable on an individual standpoint from people who've seen miracles and everything else? Yes, that's anecdotal, and that's fine. That's personal perspective. But should it be put into fiction? No, you fuckers. You're doing that on person to insult people. You're doing that on purpose. And the fact that it's been in nonfiction forever, and now it's being put into fiction, is a slight. It's just like saying we're not canceling Christmas, but you can't say it. You have to say happy holidays. No, you're not canceling Christmas, but you are trying to oppress the message of Christmas. You're trying to dilute the message. So when people say, see, people are upset. Doesn't belong there, Matt. Yes, it does. Because you cannot provide me incontrovertible evidence that God exists. On a personal level, I'm sure you have anecdotal evidence, but see, that's the problem. That's why religion is an exclusive club to people who have unequivocal faith. You have to have faith. And if you don't have faith, well, then you don't believe in God. That's the difference. But it doesn't deserve to be in fiction because it's a slight. It's disrespectful. And you're doing that on purpose. That's the problem. And that's what I take issue with. So you can argue the finer points, and you may not like what I have to say, but I'm not speaking out against God in any way, shape, or form. In fact, I'm embracing the word of God. And I'm challenging you to understand that they are doing this because the narrative is changing. Because when you want to do immoral things, you have to take morality out of society. If you don't want to be held accountable for immorality, you have to make sure morality isn't a standard anymore. And it isn't.
And yeah, it's well on their way to completely being gone.
You can fuck whoever you want. Mm-hmm. You can cheat on your wife and it's okay. You can be president of the United States and fuck another woman while you're married. That's okay. Whether it be Donald Trump or whether it be Bill Clinton. You can fuck your babysitter. You can embezzle millions of dollars and it's just good politics. There is no consequence for immorality anymore. We don't hold George Santos. We disagreed that he shouldn't be in office. Are you fucking kidding me? Why is there a disagreement that guy shouldn't be in office?
Well, if that's a disagreement, we would have nobody in Congress.
That's my point. You can cheat, but there's a certain level of cheating that's acceptable. Yeah. Give me a break. There is no more morality. These guys don't balance the budget. They sit there and run on something and they don't do it. Nobody holds them accountable. Newscasters are wrong. They talk about P-tapes, Russian collusion. It was a lie. There's also people that said that the election was stolen, and they're not held accountable either. Come on, folks. Come on. Morality? There's no such thing anymore.
No.
Because who defines our morality? The law isn't taken seriously anymore. God isn't taking it seriously anymore. So who defines the morals in this country? Michael, who's your spiritual leader?
Spiritual leader, it's what I believe.
Your personal code. Your personal code. Would you like to share that with the rest of humanity so we can all have one too? Or can we all just define our personal code? And if we can all define our personal code and man is sinner, well then, isn't that like going ahead and giving the drunk driver the keys to the car and expecting not to get in an accident?
Mm-hmm. Well, if you want my code, just go to the Marine Corps.
That's it.
You'll be fine.
You go to my Corps, you go to the Navy, and ours is you just drill people to the core. See, my point is morality is no longer established. just like our rules of society are no longer established. It's like watching a movie like Star Wars and watching Star Trek and having two very different experiences. In Star Wars, sound is in space. In Star Trek, it's not, because space is a vacuum and there is no space. And scientifically, it is correct. But from an excitement standpoint, it doesn't make much sense when the Star Trek Enterprise loses half of the ship and you can't hear it when the camera view is outside. But that's what the truth is. But in Star Wars, you hear it because it's sexy and it's fun. So you have a choice. You have reality or you have fiction. You have the truth or you have supposition and conjecture. You have morality or you have immorality. You can't have both.
And what's going to sell?
What's going to sell?
And it's not going to be the truth.
Star Wars. Star Wars.
Morality is hard and immorality is easy.
That's correct. Yep. And that is where we're at today. It's easier to sin. It's easier to cheat on your wife rather than make it work. It's easier to be a glutton and work out 15 to 10 hours in the gym each week. This is the problem with, I'm not better than you. You're not better than me. But if we don't know what the rules of humanity are, then how the fuck can we be expected to follow them? And how come some people don't have to follow the rules? How come some people don't get held accountable to those rules that we know are right and wrong? Because we know the difference. That is religion in itself, folks, is knowing the difference between right and wrong. That summarizes religion in a nutshell. Do we know what the difference between right and wrong is? We damn well that the blue collar worker does. We do. We know the difference between right and wrong.
But you can say that, but then you can go to, and I forget the exact, it was this mother talking about her son, and he just got shot doing a armed robbery. And she's like, oh, well, why did he have to get shot? Like, he goes out there and does these armed robberies, and like, he should have come home. Like, why did you shoot him? It's like, the fact that you're now trying to justify him going out and doing that, and it's fine.
Right.
That's where we're at, of that is their right. And it's like, okay, if that's our new level, we're screwed.
Well, there's no...
Sounds like Hamas.
Yeah. Well, here's what it comes down to. Is there anything that will take you out of your own selfishness? And if there's not...
Guilt.
Yeah. I mean,
guilt.
The guilt and fear. Those are the only thing that takes you out of your own selfishness. There is no more fear and guilt anymore.
No.
If we can make excuses for everything we do and it's justifiable because it happens 3 centimeters between our own eyes, well, then there's no such thing as guilt anymore. And if it's all justifiable...
in my person...
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No,
in my personal life, if I've noticed as I've gotten older, if I've done things like working with a guy and overstepped my bounds, and I immediately said, you know what? That was fucked up. I shouldn't have did that.
Right.
I go back and I apologize and explain to him, listen, I shouldn't have did that. I was wrong.
Sure.
And I'm sorry.
Yeah, but that's morality.
Yep.
That's morality. Morality is a code that's bigger and more important than you. That is what morality is.
I get mixed up sometimes because I think an absolute, like if I was a good person, I wouldn't have made that mistake, and I wouldn't have to apologize.
Yeah, but then you're God.
Yeah,
then you're
and that
perfect.
ain't happening.
You know,
woulda, coulda, shoulda, brother. I mean, I probably shouldn't have yelled at my kids to the level I did while I was spanking them because it made it look like I hated them, and I was wrong. I shouldn't belittle my wife like I do sometimes. That's wrong. I shouldn't covet other women when I was younger and think about women, but I do and have. I probably shouldn't have drank as much as I did in the military and out. There's a lot of things I probably shouldn't have consumed the amount of narcotics that I consumed, but I did.
But guess what? There's certain times that you have to learn your morality.
Right.
And
that's why
sometimes
we're here.
If you don't do those things, you're never going to know.
Yes. If we were infallible, we wouldn't be here. We'd be in heaven. We'd be one of the disciples. We'd be God. We're not. We're men. Listen, I'm not here to define what religion means to you. What I'm trying to say is that it's not on decline, it's gone. The people who believe in God are here, and they are among us, and they are firm and fervent believers. Those people are few and far between now. You don't see that as much as you used to. And if you don't believe me, go on to TikTok.
I believe you, and I've already made the comment. Morality is hard. Immorality is easy.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
And people look for instant gratification.
Yeah. Stump, I love having you on. Did you have anything else? I got a quick video to show. I got a show of Michelle Obama, or not Michelle
No, I'm going to get off the show. Next time I call in, I won't be speaking with you.
Yeah.
Because now my grandchildren are talking to me and they're referring to me as Uncle Dickie.
Well, you're going to have to explain to Olivia why you called in the morning show again, and she's not here. She's fucking.
Hey, I got a 2 for 2. So.
I got back in our good graces. I'm not going back there.
Until this call.
She's a woman. She's a woman. There's no such thing as good graces. There's you are in the sights, you are out of sights. There's nothing else.
Guys, I really appreciate you answering my questions about the Convention of States.
You got it, buddy.
Because it's something I know little about, and I need to learn more.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you, Stump.
Have a good day, guys.
Have a good one, Stumpy.
Thanks, Kev. Good dude. All right, so let's finish this up. This is a good show. I like the show. I like the philosophical side. Folks, I'm going to show you. Do you remember Melania Trump?
Do you remember elegance
Yeah.
and humility and someone who probably is the epitome of the American dream, being an immigrant coming here and getting to a certain status?
Do you want to know what pisses me off, Mikey?
What?
Is they fucking harangue this woman.
Yes.
First of all, she's got a rockin' body, smoking. She was a model. She posed nude. Who gives? I thought liberals wanted that shit. Haven't they been in support of pornography? Haven't they been? It's not pornography, by the way. She posed nude. Who cares? In Europe, that's like driving a car.
Yes.
Melania Trump is none of those things. She is a beautiful woman. She is an intelligent woman. She speaks more language than every one of these knuckle dragon pricks, and they have treated her like dog crap.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're like, where's Melania? You know where she is? She's staying out of the public eye, you fuckers, because you've broken her spirit and you've destroyed that woman because of shit like this. This was her Christmas video. This is what she did for the White House. Here it is. Was that a coal burning train?
Oh,
is that a fossil? Is that a fossil fuel Air Force One? That's not EV. Of course, this is why they hated it. Folks, this goes on for minutes.
Yeah. But do you see how non-political that was? How it's just showing the beauty of Christmas while giving some like history of the White House, different aspects of the U.S., and bringing that all together in a nice, beautiful, warming display. Like that is just gives me good, warm, and fuzzy. And then we're gonna have this next video. That's going to give you something else.
Oh, God. Here it is. watching the whole fucking thing. Georgia.
Jesus.
First of all, the Big Band swing. I love it. I love big band music. To me, it's not Christmas. To have a DEI approved tap dancing in the White House, I'm surprised that the Nutcracker soldier and the ballerina didn't kiss, the two women at the end. I'm a little disappointed that Hamas wasn't represented and fat people weren't represented. I'm wondering where the fatties were. Dude, like,
see,
it's okay, right? I mean, it's okay to do things that are different. It's fine. That most assuredly is like interpretive dance and different. And, what's the fucking message? Go ahead.
And to me, this is the point, like, it's so unpresidential. To where you look at Melania Trump's, like, that was very professional. That is what I would expect out of a first lady, of like the elegance of it. And this crap, like, I realize, like, sure, if you're into the Nutcracker or like that type of dance, like, okay, that's great. You want to do something different, but is that what you expect out of the White House? Is that what you would like? You know what? This is what our nation get behind. Of, hey, this is how we're going to show off Christmas at the White House. Like, is this what you picture? Because to me, this is an embarrassment.
What is it? Like, I understand the Nutcracker. I understand the little mouse with the crown, and what's the fucking flower on the head? Who's that guy? And is that in the Nutcracker? Am I missing it? Is that what this is? Is it just an ode to the Nutcracker?
Well, that's what. Hold on, let me pull it back up. That's
help me understand. Give me the fine lines, because listen, the decorations are fine. I'm not gonna. I saw the whole video, the 4.5 minutes I watched. The decorations are beautiful. Jill Biden did fine. I don't care. Look at that. That looks beautiful. You've got snow-crested trees. You've got the stars and stripes.
See, and that would have been perfect without all the dancing. Just
the,
going through it would have been perfect.
That's fine. That's the problem. What is this? What is this equity diversion, DEI bullshit that we don't need? Why?
It's, talented tappers of the Dorrance dance performing their playful interpretation of the Nutcracker Suite.
There you go.
Is what they were trying to do.
Listen, okay. Let me just put this very clear. I don't care about any of this. Like, Fox News is making a big deal. Who gives a shit? Who cares? If they want to go ahead and do some interpretive dance with a guy with a flower on his head and a nose ring, or do some sort of trans dancer, I'm sure there's a trans person in this. Is there a trans person in this?
I could almost guarantee.
I guarantee you there. Who cares? I don't care about this stuff. What I do care about is that we're a laughing stock of this world, where the United States used to lead. Do you remember when we were like leaders of the free world?
It used to be is the key word for all that.
I mean, this stuff is just like, and here's my biggest issue with this is that we're being trolled by the left.
Yep.
I mean, really? They're trolling us, and we keep rising to the occasion of they're just doing this on purpose. They knew it was going to piss people off. They're like, let's put black people in it because white America is going to get pissed off. I don't care. I think the people are beautiful. I think they dance incredibly well. I don't understand it at all. Like, I don't get it. I don't think, to me, this convey that. I guarantee you that toy soldier's a guy. I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know. But this is as stupid as when they went after Melania.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Okay, I understand you don't like Jill Biden. I understand you don't like Joe Biden. You have that right. I don't like either. I don't care. But this is not a shitty looking White House. The only thing that Fox News is focusing on is this dance. And honestly, the only thing about it that they don't like, and you know what it is that there's black people, there's lesbians, there's transgender people dancing in here, and white people aren't overly represented. And the ones that are white are gay, with this guy with a flower in his head, and a trans person is the other. And America is like, well, where are we? Okay, so you know what? There's the one white person. She's in it for 2 seconds. And even her earrings are too big. So this is what Fox is presenting. I watched it this morning, and they're fucking melting down over this. They're melting down over it. Mike, is this really the biggest deal of our country? Is this what we have to worry about? Is this the biggest thing that we have to fear?
Well, this is all they have right now to try to get some ratings. Like, oh, look at the crap that Joe Biden's doing, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is where we're at a level that this is on freaking news. When it should have just been a quick little, hey, here's the new decorations, go look at it if you want, and then move on.
Right.
And
instead, the Democrats asked for this. This is what they want. They want the attention.
Yes.
They want Republicans to flip out over this, and they are. All the conservative channels, except for mine, are telling you this is the end of times because no, folks, these are just a bunch of people who dance. And they love what they're doing. And the White House said, would you like to come on here and do some sort of... And they said yes. It's not these people's fault. They're just dancing, for God's sakes. Go read the Bible. Do I have to show you Footloose? Do I need to show a clip of Footloose to help you understand? All right, well, good.
But all they're doing for these is all these reactions are just more videos that they can use for the election of like, hey, this is why the right and the conservatives hate African Americans or they hate LGBT. Like, all the reactions you're getting right now is perfect for the election coming up. Like, hey, look,
ready, Virginia.
we're doing exactly what you guys want. We're playing right into their hand, and it's freaking ridiculous.
It's just as bad as Melania. You know what? Enjoy, because I think you all need to watch Footloose. Seriously.
It is outrageous. If you think that
Eleanor, sit down. I think Mr. McCormick has a right to be heard.
I don't care what you say. Hands down, one of the best scenes to bring scripture. And there's another one. It's called Contact with Matthew McConaughey and Jodie Foster, where he is on the Senate dais and he's talking about God. This shows that God and science can live together and we can learn something, because I love this movie. And I love this movie because of this scene, and really only this scene, because it's fucking fantastic.
Well, I just wanted to say a few words about this motion so that you wouldn't think that we were...
Quickly, this town, if you haven't watched this movie, and you're not an American if you haven't, seriously, it's Kevin fucking Bacon. Get with the program. Is this town has outlawed dancing and drinking and parties because the reverend, who is a spiritual leader of the community, his son died, went across town to a place where drinking was legal at 18, came across the bridge and had a DUI and died. So they've banned it. And this guy came from the city, and he loves dance, and he loves to do all, he likes to drink and party and have a good time. And he is trying to create a prom for this high school, but they've outlawed it. So the city council is here ready to make the decision, and everyone's spoken against it, that it's devil and it's brimstone and fire. And Kevin Bacon comes in with his beautiful flock of seagull haircut and reads from scripture, and it's just a moving piece. Watch this.
encouraging destruction with this idea. From the oldest of times, people danced for a number of reasons. They danced in prayer, or so that their crops would be plentiful, or so their hunt would be good. And they danced to stay physically fit and show their community spirit. And they danced to celebrate. And that is the dancing that we're talking about. Yeah. Aren't we told? In Psalm 149, praise ye the Lord. Sing unto the Lord a new song. Let them praise his name in the dance. Amen. Amen. And it was King David. King David, who we read about in Samuel. And what did David do? What did David do? What did David do? David danced before the Lord with all his might. Leaping and dancing before the Lord. Leaping and dancing. And Ecclesiastes assures us that there is a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to laugh, and a time to weep. A time to mourn, and there is a time to dance.
I just want to dance.
I'm surprised they haven't tried to cancel this movie because of how much script.
Oh, they canceled. They've already tried.
Oh,
they rewrote it with white actors. That was the biggest sin in Hollywood. The point is, it's not the greatest movie in the world. I mean, honestly, the acting's shit. But you notice that when he was reading his own words, he was stumbling and he was fumbling through. But the moment he opened up the Bible and found the confidence that he isn't a religious kid, he was able to find the words. The muse isn't something that is ignorant to society. People understand that the Lord uses people in different ways. And whether you believe that or not, interpretive muse is a beautiful thing. And people are used to present ideas and thoughts to help people cope with things that they don't understand. There is a group of people who are looking at that video completely different than conservatives. And they're seeing that crazy ass, equity, diverse, inclusive video of lesbian and gay and trans nutcrackers. And they are seeing it and saying there was a time in this country when those people would have been hung. Or in certain parts of the country, they would be thrown off buildings. I think we are so divided in this country, and we are so hateful towards what is not normal that we forget that we're Christians and that we were once buried to our necks. We were thrown into pits with lions because of what we believed. I think that although diversity, equity, and inclusion is a scam and a money-making opportunity and a pyramid scheme in this country and MLM type marketing, it doesn't mean that we can't look at that video and say, who gives a fuck? It's a bunch of people who are not like us, who don't believe in what we believe, who are celebrating something that we're supposed to care about, Christ, the birth of Christ, because that's what this is about. It's not about milk and cookies, and it's not about Santa and reindeer, and it's not about who gets what present. It's about our Lord and our Savior's birth.
But how far have we gotten away from that?
Oh my God, horribly. To the fact that when we watch a video, we're threatened by it, just like they were over Melania Trump. We have a lot to learn as society. I don't have a lot of faith that we're ever going to learn it. Mike, you get last word. I think I've spoken enough, as always. Go ahead. What do you got?
Say, like, just hearing all this today, it's, yes, some of it has been doom and gloom of how far we've gotten away from either religion or morality or just caring about each other in any kind of way that we can actually respect each other and respect a different point of view and still live together and still be a community. But the only way that we can actually come back and bring everybody back together, it's got to start with somebody. Might as well be you. Go out there, say hello to someone, start slowly bringing it back, because once you give that happiness to one person, it's infectious. Then maybe they'll pay it forward and do it to someone else. And eventually, and this is going to be a very slow burn, eventually maybe we can get back to a point where, like, you know what? I can be proud of where we're at. We can actually see a direction that, like, you know what? This is a good direction. I like where we're going. Although, yes, we're going to disagree on how to get there. We can still get to a good place.
By the way, people are asking about the birth of Jesus Christ. It wasn't in December. Who gives a shit? He also wasn't a white guy. All right?
I always love, like, oh, he's got to be white. And, like, Have you seen anyone from that region?
Have you been in Jerusalem?
Like,
Netanyahu's white. No, he's not. He may be white, but
they look Arab.
Stop. Yeah, stop. I'll tell you what he doesn't look like. He doesn't look like the guy who started in Jared. He doesn't look like Jared Leto. That's who he doesn't look like. And the depiction of Jesus that we see, it looks like Jared Leto. Just stop. Okay. Who cares? All right. Who cares? It comes down to, I'm going to do me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell conservatives to calm down. Because if this is all you have to worry about this Christmas, then God bless you. You are blessed. You are so blessed.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God that you are. That video, you know what? I don't like it. I don't like the way the music is done. I don't like the interpretation of Nutcracker. I think it's stupid. I think it's 4 minutes of just bleh. I think the choreography sucks. And I think, honestly, being the most diverse cast in the world is just really distracting. Okay? But I don't find it threatening. It doesn't bother me. And if that's the way the White House wants to celebrate Christmas, then they have that power. And it honestly probably represents a hell of a lot more than the Rockettes would. I think it would probably, the Boston Philharmonic Orchestra probably wouldn't represent America as well as that group did, because that is a very diverse group of people.
Mm-hmm.
And it does represent this melting pot of complete fuckery that is our country right now. We need to learn to let go. And speaking of letting go, we need to get off the air. Try that in a small town, that shirt. I'm wearing my raglan today, so I don't have anything. But you can go pick up Don't Unfriend Me mug, coffee at The Dumb Show. Go over to thedumbshow.com. We've got a news section now, which is coming together. We've got some good stuff that you can buy over there. You can find us on Spreely.tv. Make sure to follow, like, share, and subscribe. Do me that favor. Thanks
YouTube.
for watching.
Let's not forget YouTube. Let's try to get up to 1,000 subscribers.
Where are we
slow
at?
burn.
Where are we at over on YouTube? You got to go to the right. Oh, here, I'll find it for you.
See, now you're asking too much. Press buttons. 833.
833.
We're getting close.
Getting close.
Slow burn, but still need a few more.
Keep making it happen. We will be live. Recorded show. Probably do that tomorrow. Yeah, not going to do a recorded show today. I'm going to put this up on the podcast. I always like putting the Mike and Matt's.
The Mike and Mike's.
Whatever.
The Mike and Mike's.
It's so hard.
We're getting some candy.
Military. It's so hard to call this Mike. I mean, it really is. I was like, maybe I could change my name. All right, folks, we're out of here. Good night. Thanks for staying late. Hey, buddy, you know, occasionally this is going to happen when you miss, is we're going to have these longer shows.
So yeah, that happens. And
you knew that this was going to happen, right?
But that's okay, though.
All right, everybody, we're getting out of here now.
All right, we're going to see you guys.
Maybe as soon as I can find the damn...
Got to find the right button.
I'm stalling. Good night.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.